Chapter 26, Enlightenment. Upon hearing this, the bald envoy looked up and carefully scrutinized Qingyu, confirming, "Are you sure you choose the Universe Chaos Tablet?" "I am sure." Qingyu's reply was even more resolute. The bald envoy's heart stirred slightly, but he said no more, simply recording Qingyu's choice. Soon, the bald envoy finished recording the choices of all 1,000 geniuses. He put away his recorder and looked at the crowd. "I have submitted all your choices. Now, follow me." The group left the dream corridor and was led to an extremely vast rectangular training ground, 10 kilometers long and wide. The bald envoy stood at the front and announced loudly, "Currently, out of the 52 Chaos Tablet comprehension chambers, 10 are occupied by people comprehending, while the other 42 chambers are vacant." He scanned the crowd with his gaze. "I will now read out the names of these 42 vacant Chaos Tablets. Heart Mark Chaos Tablet, Universe Chaos Tablet, Dragon Walk Chaos Tablet, ... Those who chose these 42 Chaos Tablets, proceed directly to the leftmost entrance ahead. You will be arranged into the corresponding chambers for comprehension. You may go now." As his voice fell, 800 or 900 people in the crowd immediately responded and walked towards a large arched entrance on the far left of the training ground. Qingyu was also among this flow of people, his steps steady. Passing through the arched entrance, an incredibly wide and towering corridor appeared before them. On both sides of the corridor were massive bronze doors. Each door was over 100 meters high and more than 100 meters wide. The bronze doors had no intricate patterns, only the name of the Chaos Tablet deeply engraved in ancient script. Heart Mark, Yanshan, Lan Mu, and the one Qingyu's gaze locked onto, Universe. In front of each massive bronze door, an old man in a gray robe with a benevolent face stood silently. These dozens of old men looked exactly alike. As Qingyu and hundreds of others surged into the corridor, the old man near the entrance turned to look. A vertical third eye grew in the center of his brow. The old man smiled and spoke, his voice gentle and clear, reaching everyone's ears. "Are you the new batch of little ones from the Virtual Universe Corporation?" The hundreds of geniuses were awed by the old man's unfathomable aura, momentarily stunned. Qingyu took a step forward, bowing slightly. "Yes, senior. We are the top 1,000 from this genius battle, here to comprehend the Chaos Tablet. Hee, so young. Seeing you all is like seeing the future of humanity." All the identical old men displayed gentle smiles. "You may call me Lord Kandri. I am the guardian of the 52 Chaos Tablets." "Lord Kandri." Hundreds of geniuses quickly bowed respectfully, shouting in unison. Faced with such an existence beyond comprehension, no one dared to show the slightest disrespect. Kandri nodded slightly, appearing very benevolent. "Let me introduce you. These massive bronze doors you see before you are the entrances to the Chaos Tablet cultivation chambers." He paused, his gaze sweeping over the crowd. "Please wait here for a moment. The group of people currently comprehending inside will be coming out soon." "Yes." Everyone quieted down as instructed, and only a few minutes passed. Rumble ... The massive bronze door inscribed with the words, Universe, along with the other 41 doors, simultaneously rumbled and slowly opened. "Everyone, come out." Kandri's gentle voice sounded, clearly entering each opening chamber. Soon, figures emerged from within the massive bronze doors, one after another, bearing complex expressions of either ecstasy, contemplation, exhaustion, or wistful loss. When the last person walked out, Kandri looked at Qingyu and the hundreds of others, his gaze gentle but with an undeniable admonition. "You may go in. Remember, you only have 7 days. After 7 days, no matter how much you comprehend, no matter what state you are in, once the chamber door opens, you must come out immediately. Do you understand?" "Understood." Qingyu and the others responded in unison. "Go." Kandri smiled and nodded. Only Qingyu had chosen the Universe Chaos Tablet this time. He took steady steps and entered the massive bronze door inscribed with the words, Universe. The cultivation chamber was enormous. As soon as Qingyu entered, he saw a huge stone tablet shrouded in chaotic energy, with the words, Universe, carved on its edge. Qingyu walked closer, sat down, and carefully observed the massive stone tablet. 10 diagrams were arranged on it. The first diagram, A perfectly still water surface, smooth as a mirror, deep and boundless, without a single ripple. The second diagram depicted a pure droplet of water falling into a lake, creating perfect, clear, and infinitely expanding ripples. The third diagram, the calm water surface was completely broken, with countless droplets falling like a downpour, stirring up countless splashes. The fourth diagram, a candle flame burning quietly in the darkness. The fifth diagram, an incredibly vast and violently rotating vortex of flames, showing the twisting, stretching, and compression of the flames. The sixth diagram, the scene of countless stars simultaneously erupting with solar flares. The seventh diagram began to become abstract, consisting of countless straight, parallel lines forming an infinitely extending basic grating. The eighth diagram, countless lines twisted, intertwined, and entangled, forming an incredibly complex three-dimensional line net. The ninth diagram, the lines further twisted and curled, forming an almost incomprehensible, chaotic ball of lines. The 10th diagram, as if everything returned to the origin, the image showed a perfectly round circle, deep black filling the entire ring, and at the core of the ring, a white light point emitting eternal light. The 10 diagrams became more profound one after another. Qingyu could vaguely sense something in the first 6 diagrams, but from the 7th diagram onwards, he felt as if he had returned to the time before he awakened his memories and talents, completely at a loss. Qingyu took a deep breath, suppressed the turmoil in his heart, and decisively refocused his gaze on the first diagram, the still water diagram. Although he had successfully cultivated the first 12 secret techniques of myriad tribulations did not directly point to the essence of the laws like Luo Feng's flowing blood. These 12 secret techniques merely helped cultivators better comprehend the laws. Even if he thoroughly understood all 18 secret techniques of the first level, it did not mean he fully comprehended the spatial temporal profoundness contained within the still water diagram. The Chaos Tablet is the root, myriad tribulations is just the branches and leaves. Qingyu's mind was clear. He cast aside distracting thoughts, his mental will completely immersed in that, absolutely still water surface. Only when his mind truly merged with it did Qingyu realize that this stillness was merely an illusion. His consciousness seemed to sink into a boundless lake. The lake surface was smooth as a mirror, serene and profound, yet beneath the calm surface, undercurrents surged. For a moment, countless spatial temporal imageries naturally emerged in Qingyu's mind. Chapter 27, Tongtian Bridge. As one of Primordial Chaos City's 3 treasures, the Chaos Tablet is infinitely profound, silently guiding others' comprehension, organizing and connecting those previously vague and fragmented understandings. At this moment, Qingyu involuntarily practiced the first 12 secret techniques of myriad tribulations he had already mastered in his mind. Under the guidance of the Chaos Tablet's artistic conception, the 12 secret techniques seemed to be infused with a new soul. Qingyu was completely immersed in this wonderful, enlightening feeling, forgetting the passage of time, forgetting where he was, his entire mind submerged in the ocean of space and time. Rumble. The giant bronze gate opened with a roar. Everyone, come out. A gentle voice, yet containing irresistible power, directly poured into the depths of every person's mind, pulling them from their immersion in comprehension. Everyone, come out. Everyone, come out. Everyone, come out. Ellipsis. The voice echoed in Qingyu's sea of consciousness, growing louder and louder, instantly dragging him out of that mysterious state of comprehension. Ah! The mental shock made Qingyu groan, and he instinctively clutched his head. Having been warned by Kandri, Qingyu did not hesitate. He endured the discomfort in his mind, stood up, and walked out of the bronze gate. Standing in the corridor, Qingyu couldn't help but look back, his heart filled with intense longing and a touch of wistfulness. This feeling, it's too wonderful. It was like tasting an endlessly delicious dish, making one crave more and unable to let go. At this moment, Kandri looked at the hundreds of people, including Qingyu, who had just emerged from various secret rooms, and said gently, "Wait a moment." After everyone had come out, Kandri spoke clearly. "This is your first time in Primordial Chaos City. After you leave, the first thing you need to do is find an uninhabited residence to be your home for the next 30 years. The second thing is to enter the virtual universe and apply to enter the Heavenly Bridge. You will naturally understand the specific rules once you are there. He said no more, waving his hand. All right, everything that needed to be explained has been. Go. Qingyu followed the crowd out of the city lord's mansion, but unlike others who searched for empty residences, he walked directly in one direction. Residence number 0197165293. Marquis Tianyi had specifically told him about this, because Yi Yun, who created the myriad tribulations secret technique, used to live here. Soon, Qingyu found this quaint three-story building. Qingyu stepped forward and grasped the cold doorknob. The door's color quickly changed from light white to deep gray, indicating that the house now had an owner. Hello, Master. A gentle electronic voice sounded inside the house. I am the service AI. During your stay, Master, please feel free to command me with any needs. Qingyu simply responded and walked directly up the stairs to the third-floor terrace. On the 100-meter walls and floor of the terrace, there were dense, intricate carvings. These carvings varied in their tool marks, depth, and were chaotic. Most were simply etched by predecessors while comprehending secret techniques, holding little value for later generations. Residences with truly excellent carvings were designated as public residences and not allowed for private ownership. Although this, Yi Yun's, myriad tribulations is quite impressive, the carvings he left are very chaotic. Teacher Marquis Tianyi having me live here is also for me to try my luck and see if I can comprehend anything. Qingyu's gaze swept over the carvings, his brow slightly furrowed. Never mind, I'll go try the heavenly bridge first. Qingyu's mind stirred, and his consciousness connected to the virtual universe. In original Zone Manor 114, Marquis Tianyi sat leisurely at a stone table in the courtyard, slowly savoring a cup of fine wine. Finished comprehending the chaos tablet. How do you feel? Seeing Qingyu walk into the manor, he put down his wine cup. Qingyu walked to the stone table, respectfully bowed, and then sat down opposite him. Teacher. Qingyu spoke truthfully. This disciple now has so many insights. Just 7 days of comprehension feels as effective as a year of this disciple's cultivation. Ha ha. That's an illusion. Everyone has this feeling the first time they comprehend. In reality, it's because all your previous accumulations were guided out during this comprehension. Marquis Tianyi smiled faintly, then gently explained. You need to calm your mind and internalize what you gained from this comprehension to truly progress. Qingyu nodded slightly. Explosive insights needed to be refined to transform into substantial strength. Marquis Tianyi's gaze fell on Qingyu, filled with anticipation. Now, go challenge the heavenly bridge. If you want to comprehend the Chaos Tablet again in the future, you'll need to challenge the Heavenly Bridge. Each level you pass will grant you one opportunity for comprehension. Based on my assessment of you, passing the first level should be no problem. Yes, teacher. Qingyu responded steadily without any hesitation, then with a thought, apply to enter the Heavenly Bridge. Soon, a voice sounded directly in the depths of Qingyu's mind. Identity confirmed, Qingyu. You have permanently gained the qualification to enter the Heavenly Bridge. We hope you strive hard and reach the end of the Heavenly Bridge. Now teleporting. On the Heavenly Bridge plane, as soon as Qingyu stood firm, a black-robed figure with 4 ears instantly appeared before him. Hello, Qingyu. I am Ba Fen, the Warden of the Heavenly Bridge plane. I prefer to be called Warden. Hello, Warden. Qingyu bowed slightly in greeting. Good. Warden Ba Fen was clearly pleased with Qingyu's address. I will now introduce you to the relevant information and rules of the Heavenly Bridge plane. Although Qingyu already knew this information, he acted as if he were hearing it for the first time. The Universe Tongtian Bridge has a total of 30 levels, Ba Fen finally introduced. The further you advance, the deeper your understanding of the Cosmic Chaos Monument. If you can pass all 30 levels, then you can become a great existence on the level of the Cosmic Chaos Monument creator. Ba Fen looked at Qingyu, an encouraging smile on his face. Over half of your batch of 1,000 people have come to challenge it, but currently, not a single person has passed the first level. Qingyu's eyes flickered. What about Mocha, Yu Meng, and the others? They all tried, but they all fell at the first level, Ba Fen reported truthfully. You were the most promising one in this session. I hope you can be the first to pass the first level. The Universe Tongtian Bridge is currently empty, you can go challenge it now. Okay. Qingyu bowed slightly in thanks, then turned and stepped onto the heavenly bridge. In primordial Chaos City, within a quaint palace, a tall figure with a stern face was sitting cross-legged on the ground. Suddenly, he opened his eyes and spoke with some helplessness. Zi Yuan, why aren't you cultivating properly, striving to achieve the venerable rank soon, and instead running to my place again? Chapter 28, Pass the First Level. As the voice fell, a figure with a gentle and introverted demeanor walked into the palace. Snow Prison King, the little ones from this batch have arrived again. Aren't you going to take a look? Genius battle. It happens every 10,000 years. Those who can truly reach our level are 1 in a million. What's so special about this batch? Special. I wouldn't say anything world-shattering. Purple Abyss King walked over and sat down in front of Snow Prison King, tapping his fingertip in the void, and a light screen appeared. However, the first place winner of this batch, this little fellow named Qingyu, chose the path of your Universe Chaos Tablet lineage. Oh, Snow Prison King's normally placid eyes finally showed a ripple. Another little one chose this path. Commendable courage. It's just, this path is not that easy. He shook his head slightly. Purple Abyss King deeply agreed. Indeed, cultivating both time and space is powerful, but also extremely arduous. Courage alone is not enough. Ninesword Exalt also doesn't seem to think highly of him. Snow Prison King was silent for a moment, then slowly said, since he chose this path and got first place, he must have some extraordinary qualities. It's useless to just guess here, why not go and see? A glint of interest flashed in Purple Abyss King's eyes. I had the same idea. Let's see how much he can grasp on his first attempt at the Heavenly Bridge. Soon after Qingyu disappeared into the Universe Tongtian Bridge entrance, 2 figures quietly descended. The guardian Ba Fen immediately sensed them, and his expression instantly became incredibly respectful. Snow Prison King. Purple Abyss King. How is the situation with this batch of youngsters challenging the Heavenly Bridge? Purple Abyss King asked directly. Ba Fen respectfully replied, more than half have come to try. Currently, no one has passed the first level. What about Qingyu, the one who chose the Universe Chaos Tablet? Has he arrived? Snow Prison King's gaze turned towards the Universe Tongtian Bridge. Qingyu just entered the Universe Tongtian Bridge. Oh, he's already started. Snow Prison King raised an eyebrow. First, pull up his genius battle video and let's watch. Ba Fen immediately waved his hand, and a light screen unfolded in the void. The 2 champion powerhouses watched silently. Snow Prison King, as a champion of the Universe Chaos Tablet lineage, watched more closely, but his brows furrowed slightly. His foundation is too shallow, his comprehension of the laws of time and space is also very superficial. With the law mastery he displayed in the genius battle, he's still far from passing the first level of the Heavenly Bridge. His law talent doesn't support him in cultivating both time and space. Snow Prison King's tone carried a hint of disappointment and certainty. He himself walked this path and knew all too well how high the talent requirements were for it. It seems Ninesword Exalt's advice for him to give up was not without reason, Purple Abyss King also said. He chose the most difficult path, yet his starting point is so low. On his first attempt at the Heavenly Bridge, he probably won't even touch the corner of the Guardian's clothes before being defeated. Snow Prison King shook his head, his interest waning. Let's go back. No need to watch his upcoming battle. At this moment, Qingyu had already arrived at the first level of the Universe Tongtian Bridge. Choose your opponent: warrior, psyker master controller, or illusionist. Defeat your opponent to pass the first level. I choose the controller, Qingyu said calmly. A black liquid immediately flew out from the mist in front of Qingyu, condensing into a humanoid figure, also equipped with a tribulation divine weapon and a flowing light disc, just like Qingyu. Begin. The voice from the mist announced the start of the battle. The Guardian's flowing light disc flashed, and he charged forward. At the same time, his tribulation divine weapon instantly decomposed. Dozens of circular blades shot out, instantly weaving into a 3-dimensional silver light net, the weaving void net, which descended upon Qingyu. Qingyu's eyes were as sharp as an eagle's. His tribulation divine weapon also decomposed, and 9 even more condensed and exquisitely traced threads shot out. They rapidly crisscrossed and connected, instantly forming a larger, more structurally stable 3-dimensional light net, which moved in reverse to meet the guardian. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The 2 massive silver light nets collided violently. Countless sharp threads cut and annihilated each other, emitting a piercing screech that threatened to rupture eardrums, and space vibrated intensely. The difference was immediately apparent. In front of Qingyu's more exquisite and stable weaving void net, the Guardian's light net trembled violently, its edge threads snapping inch by inch. The Guardian was forced to retreat, constantly maneuvering with his flowing light disk to avoid being sliced by the silver threads. Although your control of the second stage is stronger than mine, do you think you can pass the first level so easily? Impossible, the Guardian roared. Is that so? A cold arc appeared at the corner of Qingyu's mouth. The already formed weaving void net suddenly changed. Countless silver threads shifted their positions, as if an invisible wave was moving through space, causing Qingyu's weaving void net to undulate, leaving the Guardian with nowhere to hide. The countless silver threads forming the light net were not static in their cutting, but rather undulated as if pushed by an invisible wave, like hidden currents beneath a calm lake surface. Qingyu had integrated the profound artistic conception of the first diagram, the still water diagram, into his weaving void net. The Guardian's evasion path, originally reliant on his flowing light disk, was completely sealed off, as if he had fallen into a living, constantly shrinking and twisting net of death. What? The Guardian was horrified. It was too late to dodge. Puff, 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 puff. The undulating silver light net instantly contracted, completely enveloping the Guardian. A terrifying cutting force erupted, and the Guardian's body was instantly shredded. First level, passed. Qingyu smiled slightly, then flew towards the second level of the heavenly bridge. The black mist condensed into a humanoid figure again, looking at Qingyu and laughing. To be able to pass the first level right after entering Primordial Chaos City, you've already surpassed most geniuses. However, you want to pass the second level. Wishful thinking. You don't decide that. Let's begin, Qingyu said calmly. The battle erupted instantly. Both sides' tribulation divine weapons moved in unison, and the perfect weaving void net light nets collided again, fiercely battling, making it difficult to determine a winner. The Guardian's eyes sharpened, and his moves suddenly changed. Time scar cocoon. Buzz. The countless sharp threads surrounding him instantly contracted inwards and intertwined, forming an enormous light cocoon that emitted dual fluctuations of time and space. It aimed to tightly envelop Qingyu. Qingyu's reaction was equally swift. Under his mental control, the 3-dimensional light net also suddenly collapsed inwards, transforming into another massive light cocoon, which inversely coiled around the Guardian. Like a spider hunting its prey, it frantically entangled the Guardian. Both sides used the same moves. The 2 massive light cocoons violently intertwined. The sharp, invisible threads, drawing upon the 2 fundamental laws of time and space, fiercely strangled and annihilated each other. The space available for dodging became smaller and smaller. It was a test of who would give out first. Qingyu pushed the 100-thread flow to its extreme, with hundreds of indistinguishable phantom bodies constantly flickering within the confined space, attempting to disrupt his opponent. It's useless. Go back and cultivate some more. The Guardian roared. Qingyu was indeed slightly inferior in his comprehension of laws. If he had followed the path of law essence, comprehending the first 12 secret techniques would have been more than enough to pass the second level. However, relatively speaking, following the path of law essence would not allow him to comprehend secret techniques so quickly. Chapter 29, Secret Method returns to oneness. After a few more seconds of stalemate, a fierce flash of light occurred. Qingyu's light cocoon had sealed off all the retreat paths of the Guardian, but Qingyu's own situation became even more critical. The transparent silver threads were practically touching his skin. Die. Qingyu's figure dissipated. Second level, failed. Qingyu's consciousness reawakened, and he was already in manner 114 of the original zone. As Qingyu walked inside, he replayed the details in his mind. If I combine it with illusion attacks to disrupt its rhythm, I should be able to pass, the thought flashed through Qingyu's mind. How was it? What was the result of challenging the heavenly bridge? You passed the first level, right? A familiar voice came, as Marquis Tianyi sat by the stone table in the courtyard. Teacher. Qingyu bowed respectfully before sitting down. I passed the first level, but failed the second. However, Qingyu voiced his idea about using illusions. The purpose of the heavenly bridge is to test your mastery of the chaos tablet. Since you primarily cultivate the tribulation divine weapon, try not to use other methods as much as possible, Marquis Tianyi said with a light chuckle, stroking his palm. However, before you leave Primordial Chaos City, go as far as you can. 10 times the points are not to be wasted. Besides, you only comprehended the Chaos Tablet for 7 days. Once you fully integrate these insights, how could a mere second level stop you? Go, and thoroughly digest what you've gained this time. This disciple understands. In the Heavenly Bridge Plain, the overseer Ba Fen swiftly sent the news of Qingyu passing the first level of the Universe Tongtian Bridge to Snow Prison King and Purple Abyss King, and also to the other 999 geniuses. Snow Prison King watched the video sent by Ba Fen and said indifferently, I underestimated this little fellow. To pass the first level, it seems he still has some comprehension. However, it's just the first level of the Universe Tongtian Bridge. In countless genius battles, countless people have passed the first level. But how many eventually reached the champion level? Let alone king. Cultivating both space and time is too difficult. This bit of talent doesn't represent much. Snow Prison King closed the video and no longer paid attention. Purple Abyss King watched the same video. This little fellow does have some comprehension, this sensitivity to the laws of space and time. Perhaps that fellow Snow Prison was too rash. He didn't immediately draw a conclusion, merely saving the video. Almost simultaneously, all the current batch of geniuses received the news of Qingyu passing the first level. Instantly, the entire genius group erupted. Mocha was intensely practicing his movement technique. Upon seeing the message, his movements suddenly froze, eventually turning into a deep, bitter smile. Qingyu, you fellow, 3 years of hard cultivation, I thought I could close the gap a bit, but you've run even faster. He closed the video, his eyes showing no discouragement, but instead a stronger fighting spirit ignited. I won't give up. One day, I will catch up to your back. He took a deep breath and threw himself into even more frantic training. When Yu Meng received the news, her beautiful face first showed a stunned expression. He actually passed the first level so quickly. Her delicate brows furrowed slightly, her slender white fingers unconsciously twisted the corner of her clothes, and a deep worry and a hint of loss showed in her eyes as she gazed at the hazy sky of Primordial Chaos City, remaining silent for a long time. He's progressing too fast. If this continues, can I still keep up with his pace? Some who hadn't yet challenged the Heavenly Bridge received the news and hadn't realized the difficulty of the Heavenly Bridge. If he can pass, so can I. They immediately applied to enter the Heavenly Bridge. Plain, but they only lasted a few seconds before being decisively defeated by the Guardian. Virtual Universe, Thunder Island, Ninesword Exalt's Divine Hall. Ninesword Exalt sat on the throne, asking with an indifferent voice. What were the results of this batch of 1,000 geniuses challenging the Heavenly Bridge? A lion-headed strong man quickly said. Reporting to Exalt, 999 people have all attempted to challenge the Heavenly Bridge, and the result is, all failed, no one passed the first level. Only Qingyu alone passed the first level of the Universe Tongtian Bridge. Ninesword Exalt frowned slightly. Although he had long anticipated the quality of this batch of geniuses, hearing the results still made him feel a bit irritable. He had only recently achieved Exalt status, and he lacked capable subordinates. His original intention in hosting the genius battle was to discover a few subordinates with potential to be cultivated into champions, or even kings. However, after hosting several consecutive sessions, no truly exceptional genius that made his eyes light up had appeared. He was even considering whether to abandon this, waiting for a rabbit, method and instead focus on cosmic adventures to seek breakthroughs in his own strength. Bring up the video of that Qingyu challenging the Heavenly Bridge for me to see, Ninesword Exalt commanded, suppressing the disappointment in his heart. Yes. The lion-headed strong man immediately complied. After watching the video, Ninesword Exalt was silent for a moment, then let out an ambiguous hum. HMPH. He does have some comprehension. However, the admiration in his eyes was fleeting, replaced by a deeper disapproval and coldness. What a pity, he's conceited. He seems glorious now, having passed the first level. Ninesword Exalt's voice was cold. When you waste too much time on the path of cultivating both space and time in the future, and are far surpassed by your peers, you will know how important this foundational stage is now, and how invaluable this Exalt's advice is. By then, it will be too late for regrets. He waved his hand, signaling the lion-headed strong man to retreat, no longer paying attention to Qingyu's matter. At this moment, Qingyu was sitting cross-legged on the rooftop of the small building, digesting his 7 days of insights, completely unaware of the commotion outside caused by his passing the first level. The inspiration ignited by 7 days of comprehending the Chaos Tablet was like a prairie fire, instantly igniting all his past accumulations. He had completely entered a state of self-forgetfulness. When inspiration struck, he would sit cross-legged on the rooftop, his eyes slightly closed, as if merging with the surging chaotic energy around him. Countless profound thoughts and new understandings emerged, perished, and recombined like stars in his sea of consciousness. When a new secret technique idea was about to burst forth, he would suddenly rise, his long spear in hand moving as if an extension of his arm, transforming into a soaring dragon. Originally, the 12 secret techniques of myriad tribulations were performed by Qingyu independently, but gradually, between the spear's tips points, thrusts, lifts, and parries, he was no longer isolatedly performing one of the first 12 secret techniques of myriad tribulations, but subtly and naturally connecting and integrating the essence of several secret techniques. After an unknown amount of time, Qingyu felt a wave of physical and mental exhaustion, and only then did he abruptly emerge from that extreme state, but his eyes were clearer and more profound than ever before. Qingyu slowly retracted his spear, letting out a long breath. How long have I been comprehending? Master, you have been continuously comprehending and practicing for 60 days. The intelligent butler respectfully replied. 60 days, 2 months. Qingyu repeated softly. Now, I have absolute confidence in passing the second level. Chapter 30 Chaos True Spirit. Qingyu sat cross-legged on the sky platform, his thoughts exceptionally clear. The 18 secret techniques of the first level of myriad tribulations correspond to the first picture of the universe Chaos Tablet, progressing in layers, profound and unfathomable. He had already comprehended the first 12 secret techniques, but before, he only used them in isolation, failing to truly integrate them, which led to his inadequacy when facing the time scar cocoon on the second level of the heavenly bridge. After 60 days of selfless cultivation, he finally assimilated all the insights from his first comprehension of the Chaos Tablet. Not only did he merge the 12 secret techniques, but his space-time laws also improved. With his current comprehension of laws, if he were to challenge the Trial Tower from the Genius Battle again, he would be confident in passing the first 2 levels of the 7th Trial Tower. The latter 6 secret techniques are several times more profound than the first 12 combined. Qingyu's eyes were calm as he pondered silently. However, in this primordial chaos city, leveraging the convenience of the external manifestation of the origin laws, I am confident that I can fully comprehend and integrate them within 5 to 6 years, thoroughly mastering the first, still water diagram. Just as he was planning his subsequent cultivation, his intelligent assistant sent a notification. An email had arrived. Qingyu opened the email and found that it was from Yu Meng. The content was concise. Qingyu, do you know about the 3rd treasure of Primordial Chaos City? The 3 treasures of Primordial Chaos City. Qingyu certainly knew. The first treasure was the externally manifested laws of the universe's operation within the primal universe. The second treasure, naturally, was the 52 Chaos Tablets. And the 3rd treasure? Qingyu's gaze narrowed slightly as he replied, Chaos True Spirit. Yu Meng's reply was quick. That's right. Hunting chaos beasts and absorbing the chaos true spirit that dissipates after their death can nourish the soul's origin, subtly enhancing soul strength and affinity for laws. This allows us to comprehend laws with half the effort, saving a lot of time. Do you want to try it together? Nourish the soul, increase law affinity. Qingyu's thoughts raced. This was indeed what he needed currently. A stronger soul meant higher comprehension and stronger will. Increasing law affinity would directly accelerate his comprehension of the latter 6 secret techniques of myriad tribulations and the Chaos Tablet. The law affinity boosted after absorbing Chaos True Spirit. Will it enjoy an 8-fold talent amplification? Qingyu also wanted to verify his own talent. If it can, then that would be truly wonderful. Okay, see you outside the city. Qingyu replied briefly. A moment later, Qingyu walked out of the ancient, weathered city gate of primordial Chaos City. Outside the city, the vast chaotic airflow was even denser, carrying a primitive and wild aura. A graceful figure was already waiting there. It was Yumeng, dressed in a form-fitting purple combat suit that outlined her perfect figure, with a hint of undetectable joy on her exquisitely beautiful face. Qingyu. Yumeng came forward, her voice soft. Yumeng. Qingyu nodded slightly. The two walked side by side, the atmosphere somewhat subtle. Yumeng was the first to break the silence, her tone filled with genuine admiration. Congratulations on passing the first level of the Heavenly Bridge. You are the only one among us who has passed the first level, and I haven't even touched the edge of the first level yet. Her eyes flickered with complex emotions, both admiration for Qingyu and a hint of sadness at her own lagging progress. It was a stroke of luck, coupled with an outburst of insight from the Chaos Tablet. Qingyu responded calmly, without any complacency. I believe you will pass the first level eventually. Keep it up. I definitely will. Yumeng's tone became firm. She then turned the conversation back to business, her expression becoming serious. Chaos True Spirit is indeed precious. But chaos beasts are extremely dangerous. They have low intelligence but immense power, and their numbers are vast. I've heard that among our batch of geniuses, more than a dozen have already fallen to the claws of chaos beasts due to venturing too deep or being ambushed. She looked at Qingyu, a hint of warning in her eyes. Qingyu nodded, then asked appropriately, Yumeng, do you have a universe spaceship? This was crucial. Once surrounded by a large number of chaos beasts, it would be extremely dangerous. Having a spaceship to provide aerial support would greatly increase safety. A flicker of understanding passed through Yumeng's eyes, and she nodded. Yes, it's an F-grade spaceship. Qingyu's heart stirred slightly. An F-grade spaceship. It was quite valuable. Usually only undying spiritual gods could afford one. He also had a spaceship from the Azure Scale clan, but it was only an E-grade, though it was the best in his clan. My spaceship is E-grade. Qingyu stated directly. Then let's use my Violet Ray. An F-grade has better speed and defense. Yumeng immediately suggested, without any hesitation. Okay. Qingyu agreed, safety first, and an F-grade spaceship was indeed the best choice. The two quickly reached a consensus, and Yumeng waved her hand, summoning the sleek, purple glowing shuttle-shaped spaceship, the Violet Ray. Boarding the spaceship, the Violet Ray ascended, flying close to the chaotic airflow layer. Chaos beasts were divided into 3 zones: Universe rank, Territory Lord rank, and World Lord rank. The Universe rank Chaos beasts were closest to primordial Chaos City, about 2,000 kilometers outside, and were Qingyu and Yumeng's target. The spaceship traveled through the hazy airflow, and as expected, the detection instruments were severely interfered with, forcing them to rely on eyesight and perception to search for isolated chaos beasts in relatively sparse areas. Front left, in the mountain hollow, there's one. Yumeng's eyes were sharp as she pointed downwards. Qingyu gazed intently. A chaos beast resembling a leopard was wandering among jagged, strange rocks. Its entire body was covered in dark golden scales, its muscles were bulging, its eyes were crimson, and it exuded a violent universe rank aura. Attack! Qingyu low growled. The two simultaneously descended from the spaceship, Yumeng understanding perfectly, her powerful mental energy instantly erupting. Several sharp mental energy shuttles transformed into purple light, not attacking vital points, but precisely shooting at the rocks around the leopard chaos beast, creating loud noises and dust. Roar! The leopard chaos beast was startled, its crimson eyes instantly locking onto Yumeng behind the dust. Just as the leopard pounced, Qingyu, who had already been poised, moved. Weaving void net. A massive net of death precisely covered the leopard in its pouncing trajectory. Chi. The silver threads, imbued with space-time laws, violently collided with the leopard chaos beast's tough dark golden scales. Sparks flew. It actually failed to kill it directly. Qingyu's thoughts stirred, and the massive light net instantly collapsed inwards. Time scar cocoon. Puff 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 puff. Countless cutting threads instantly tightened. The leopard chaos beast's tough scales and muscles were finally completely torn apart under the double attack. Blood mist, accompanied by shattered dark golden scales, exploded. The flesh and scales rapidly decayed and decomposed, transforming into chaotic airflow, and a single emerald green light point floated up from within. Chaos true spirit. Qingyu's mental energy swept, instantly collecting it. Roar, roar, roar. Almost at the moment these green light points were collected, heart-pounding. Roars echoed from all directions. Hundreds of chaos beasts of various forms burst out from the chaotic airflow, pouncing madly. Retreat. The two showed no desire to fight, their figures rapidly falling back. Chapter 31 Yumeng's Love. The two, like two streaks of light, shot into the spaceship. The moment the hatch closed, several terrifying claw attacks and energy breaths bombarded the spaceship's hull. The violet ray shook violently, its engines roaring to life, and it shot into the sky, enduring the attacks and quickly escaping the battlefield. Here, inside the spaceship, Qingyu handed the chaos true spirit to Yumeng. Yumeng shook her head, her beautiful eyes fixed on Qingyu. You contributed the most, and the key to the kill was you. Without you, I couldn't have killed it. As we agreed, you get 6, I get 4. This first one should be absorbed by you. Qingyu pondered for a moment, then no longer declined, all right. With a thought, he integrated the emerald green light into his sea of consciousness. The 8-armed vortex in the center of his sea of consciousness spun faster, and the miniature black hole devoured the light spot. A cool, comfortable sensation spread, his soul was nourished, and his perception of the laws gradually became clearer. An ordinary person absorbing a chaos true spirit should have a very weak effect, but my feeling is exceptionally obvious. Qingyu's heart stirred, then he was overjoyed. That's right. Absorbing a chaos true spirit can also trigger the talent amplification. It wasn't that his talent directly strengthened the chaos true spirit itself, but rather that the chaos true spirit first subtly enhanced Qingyu's affinity for the laws. Immediately after, his talent amplified this enhancement, directly by 8 times. How's the effect? Yumeng asked with concern, leaning forward slightly. My soul is nourished, and my perception of the laws has become a bit clearer. Qingyu nodded. Continue. Yes. Yumeng nodded emphatically. The violet ray once again plunged into the search. Each time a lone chaos beast was found, Yumeng would attract or interfere during ground combat, while Qingyu would be the main attacker. If the target was too powerful and difficult to deal with, they would immediately call for the violet ray to provide fire suppression, creating opportunities for a kill or a retreat. If too many beast packs were discovered, they would decisively give up. Half a year's time passed in the blink of an eye. During this half year, Qingyu and Yumeng cooperated tacitly, constantly hunting chaos beasts. When tired, they would rest and exchange cultivation insights. After resting, they would continue their hunting mode. At most, they could hunt around 50 chaos beasts a day, and at least, they could hunt 20 or 30, with more than half of them absorbed by Qingyu. Combined with his talent, Qingyu's speed of comprehending the laws received a very significant boost. At this moment, Yumeng had just finished absorbing the last chaos true spirit, her face beaming with genuine joy. She suddenly turned, grabbing Qingyu's hand, her voice slightly raised with excitement. Qingyu, I feel the origin laws so clear. Now I'm confident I can pass the first level of the heavenly bridge within 2 years. Qingyu's personality was reserved, while Yumeng's was bold and passionate. She never hid her admiration and liking for Qingyu. Qingyu, on the other hand, maintained a gentle and accepting attitude towards this. Their relationship, after half a year of constant companionship, had long surpassed that of ordinary friends. Indeed, our comprehension efficiency has significantly improved now. Qingyu nodded calmly, his tone gentle. It's time to go back and cultivate in seclusion to digest what we've gained. The violet ray changed direction, flying towards Primordial Chaos City. It wasn't that Qingyu and Yumeng were unwilling to continue hunting chaos beasts, nor was there a lack of chaos beasts. The key was that the nourishing effect of the chaos true spirit on the soul was not infinite. With each integration, the effect diminished. Now, the nourishing effect of the chaos true spirit, produced by universe-rank chaos beasts on Qingyu's soul, had already become saturated. Further absorption would have no effect. This was also why the Domain Lords and World Lord rank powerhouses in Primordial Chaos City rarely hunted low-level chaos beasts anymore. For them, the effect was almost negligible. The two, having reaped great rewards, returned to Primordial Chaos City and each entered a deeper level of secluded cultivation. Qingyu's goal was clear and firm, the last 6 secret techniques of the first level of Myriad Tribulations. Virtual Universe, Original Zone, Estate No. 114. Qingyu's figure transformed into streaks of afterimages in the spacious training ground, his long spear like a dragon, practicing the rudimentary forms of his newly comprehended secret techniques. His brows were sometimes furrowed, sometimes relaxed. No, it should be like this, drawn but not fired, accumulating power and waiting to move. He stopped, closed his eyes in deep thought, the still water diagram and the Myriad Tribulations secret technique interweaving in his mind. A moment later, he thrust his spear again, the spear's momentum suddenly changing. Where the spear tip passed, space seemed to solidify for an instant, then erupted with even stronger penetrative power. The effect of this Myriad Tribulations in assisting the comprehension of laws is indeed excellent, but it is also terrifyingly profound. Qingyu stood with his spear, musing to himself. Just the last 6 secret techniques of this first level are so difficult. I wonder what the more profound second-level secret techniques will be like. Marquis Tianyi's figure appeared at the edge of the training ground. He quietly watched Qingyu practice for a moment, a hint of satisfaction in his scrutinizing gaze. It seems the soul transformation brought by the chaos true spirit has made your comprehension of the laws much sharper. Marquis Tianyi walked forward. You've grasped 70% of the essence of this 13th form, star vortex pull, but the timing of the eruption is still a bit too deliberate. Remember, it should be. Qingyu listened respectfully. Marquis Tianyi's guidance was often incisive, bringing him sudden enlightenment. After giving his pointers, Marquis Tianyi looked at Qingyu with a complex gaze. Once, he, like Ninesword Exalt and others, believed that Qingyu's simultaneous cultivation of space and time laws was a wrong path, and that his talent was insufficient to support it. However, 3 years of careful instruction had led him to discover that this disciple possessed a unique spiritual sensitivity in the 2 supreme laws of space and time. Despite lacking a strong talent foundation, he always brought unexpected insights and progress. Marquis Tianyi took a deep breath, his expression becoming serious. Qingyu, your comprehension is very good, and you have great perseverance. These 30 years in Primordial Chaos City are a critical period for you to build your foundation. My expectation for you is, you must pass the 4th level of the Heavenly Bridge within 30 years. Disciple understands. The 4th level, this disciple will do his best. Qingyu replied in a deep voice, his tone firm. However, in the depths of Qingyu's eyes, a more fervent light flashed. Every 3 levels of the Heavenly Bridge represented a major hurdle, just like the leap from the 3rd to the 4th level, where the difficulty sharply increased. But passing the 4th level within 30 years was just the baseline set by his teacher, Marquis Tianyi. Because this session of the genius battle, to which Qingyu belonged, was a very ordinary one. According to past experience, after 30 years in Primordial Chaos City, most would reach the 3rd level at most, with a small number reaching the 4th level. But for Qingyu, was the 4th level enough? Not enough. The goal he set for himself was at least the 5th level. Or even higher. With a clear goal, Qingyu's cultivation became more focused and efficient. He did not immediately use the opportunity to comprehend the Chaos Tablet, which was the reward for passing the 1st level of the Heavenly Bridge. The purpose of the Chaos Tablet is merely to sort and guide, it cannot magically elevate my level of law comprehension. Qingyu had a deep understanding of this. I must first push my own accumulation and deductions to the extreme, thoroughly understand all my insights, and accumulate a large number of unresolved doubts before going to comprehend it. Only then can I gain the maximum benefit. Otherwise, it would be a waste of this precious opportunity. Chapter 32, Breaking Through 2 Levels. Qingyu devoted himself wholeheartedly to comprehending the latter 6 secret techniques of myriad tribulations, and time passed day by day. Qingyu was not the only one making progress in Primordial Chaos City. About a year and a half after entering Primordial Chaos City, a mail from Ba Fen caused quite a stir among the 1,000 geniuses in Primordial Chaos City. Mocha, from the original zone, successfully passed the first level of the Heavenly Bridge. About another year passed, and first, Yu Meng, after absorbing enough Chaos True Spirit, returned to Primordial Chaos City for secluded cultivation. Less than 2 years later, her accumulation finally erupted, and she successfully passed the first level of the Heavenly Bridge. Immediately after, Huang Li also passed the first level of the Heavenly Bridge. On the other hand, Xing Hen, who ranked second in the Genius Battle, had yet to pass the first level of the Heavenly Bridge. The Great Axe Chaos Tablet he chose seemed to have led him into a bottleneck. In the 4th year after entering Primordial Chaos City, geniuses from the Heaven and Earth Zone and the Doomsday Zone began to pass the first level of the Heavenly Bridge in large numbers. Meanwhile, in the training ground of Manor number 114 in the original zone, Qingyu seemed to be in another dimension. Whenever a secret technique made new progress, or he encountered an intractable bottleneck, he would immediately consult and practice with his teacher, Marquis Tianyi. Marquis Tianyi watched Qingyu master the secret techniques at an astonishing speed, and his surprise grew stronger. He clearly felt that his disciple's depth of comprehension and skill in applying the laws of space-time were soaring at an unprecedented rate. These latter 6 secret techniques, he actually managed to master them in just over 4 years. Marquis Tianyi looked at Qingyu in the training ground. Originally, according to Marquis Tianyi's estimation, even with the guidance of the Chaos Tablet and Soul Transformation, if Qingyu could comprehend these latter 6 secret techniques in about 5 years, he would be considered qualified. He would be very satisfied if Qingyu could integrate the 18 secret techniques of the first level into one and pass the 3rd level of the Heavenly Bridge within 10 years. However, the reality was that Qingyu comprehended these 6 secret techniques in just 3 years, and then integrated them with the previous 12 secret techniques in just over a year. It's time. Qingyu put away his spear, his eyes sharp. The Heavenly Bridge, it's time to challenge it. In the Heavenly Bridge plane, Qingyu's figure appeared instantly. The warden Ba Fen immediately sensed it, a look of surprise on his face. Qingyu, it's been almost 5 years since you last came to challenge the Heavenly Bridge, hasn't it? Do you have the confidence to pass the 2nd level this time? I'll know when I try. Warden, I want to challenge the Universe Tongtian Bridge. Is anyone there now? Qingyu cut straight to the point. The Universe Tongtian Bridge is currently empty, you may go. Qingyu stepped into the port representing the Universe Tongtian Bridge. At the end of the 2nd level, a huge cloud of mist surged and emitted a sound. Please choose your opponent: warrior, controller, illusionist. Defeat your opponent to pass the 2nd level. I choose controller. It's you again. The Guardian, transformed from black mist, clearly recognized Qingyu. Only 5 years have passed. I want to see how much you've improved. Let's start directly, Qingyu urged. HMPH. As you wish. The Guardian's tribulation divine weapon instantly disintegrated. Time Scar Cocoon. A giant light cocoon, rapidly cutting and distorting space-time, instantly formed, bringing with it powerful binding and cutting forces, and enveloped Qingyu. Qingyu's eyes were without the slightest ripple. With the same movement, the tribulation divine weapon disintegrated. A light cocoon, also composed of countless sharp threads, instantly formed in front of Qingyu. This light cocoon had a more stable structure, more condensed threads, and the fluctuations of space-time laws it contained were deeper and more profound. It bravely met the Guardian's light cocoon. Boom! The 2 giant light cocoons collided violently. Countless threads containing space-time cutting laws frantically twisted, killed, and annihilated each other. Space groaned under the unbearable pressure. However, the result of this collision was completely different from 5 years ago. Qingyu's time scar cocoon was like a solid fortress, unmoving. But the Guardian's light cocoon vibrated violently at the moment of contact, its light flickering, and the threads on its surface began to show clear signs of breaking. What? The Guardian's eyes revealed an unbelievable surprise. Qingyu's eyes sharpened. His time scar cocoon suddenly collapsed inward, twisting and killing. The movement was fluid and swift, full of destructive power. Rip. The Guardian's light cocoon was like a fragile eggshell, forcibly torn apart and devoured by Qingyu's more perfect and powerful time scar cocoon. The remaining terrifying cutting force instantly submerged the Guardian's figure. Second level, passed. A cold voice sounded, without any ripple. Qingyu's footsteps did not stop, and he directly stepped into the entrance leading to the third level. At the end of the third level, Qingyu still chose controller as his opponent. The Guardian of the third level had cold eyes, full of scrutiny. To be able to reach here, you have some skill. But the third level is the ultimate manifestation of the comprehension of the first diagram of the universe chaos tablet. Let me see if you are qualified to pass. A series of gleaming white circular blades flew out. Time scar cocoon. A light cocoon, larger than the one unleashed by the second level Guardian, with a more complex and stable structure, and even more terrifying cutting and distorting power, instantly formed. Qingyu took a deep breath, his eyes sharp as knives. Time scar cocoon. He low roared, and the tribulation divine weapon circular blades emitted a clear hum. A similarly massive light cocoon, with an even more exquisite structure and thread movement trajectories imbued with the perfect artistic conception of the first diagram of the universe chaos tablet, bravely met it. Rumble. The two light cocoons, representing the highest understanding of the first diagram, time scar cocoon, of the universe chaos tablet at the universe rank, collided violently like two comets. A terrifying shockwave instantly swept out, pushing away the surrounding black mist. Countless silver threads were frantically annihilated at the point of impact. Stalemate. The third-level Guardian's time scar cocoon was indeed powerful. Qingyu's light cocoon vibrated violently, its light flickering, seemingly on the verge of collapse at any moment. You're doomed to lose. Go back and practice more. The Guardian's eyes burned with fire. You're the one who's doomed to lose. Although it's the same highest understanding of the still water diagram, and both use time scar cocoon, there are still differences in application. Although myriad tribulations was a spear technique, Qingyu had integrated the 18 secret techniques into one move, and also comprehended the space-time artistic conception when Yi Yun created the secret technique. Now, incorporating it into the use of the tribulation divine weapon, it erupted like a furnace. To me, condensation. Qingyu roared in his heart. The originally vibrating light cocoon suddenly stabilized. The internal threads flowed, layered, and twisted at high speed in a more profound way, more fitting the origin of space-time. The Guardian's face changed drastically. To me, break. Qingyu's eyes narrowed. Under the control of his mental power, the light cocoon smashed down like a heavy hammer. Hiss, boom. The Guardian's light cocoon finally could not hold on, and was torn apart from the inside and completely crushed by Qingyu's time scar cocoon, which contained the perfect artistic conception of the first diagram. The remaining destructive power instantly crushed the Guardian. Third level, passed. Chapter 33, The Stubborn Snow Prison King. Qingyu looked at the entrance to the fourth level. He knew perfectly well that with his current level, it was impossible for him to pass the fourth level. However, to see it and feel the difference was also a kind of gain. He stepped in. 3 seconds later, Qingyu's figure materialized in his virtual universe estate. Instant kill. The Guardian of the fourth level of the Heavenly Bridge no longer used the third stage, time scar cocoon, but the fourth stage of the tribulation divine weapon, Sky Blade Wheel. The gap was like a chasm. On the Heavenly Bridge plane, the overseer Ba Fen looked in the direction of the universe Tongtian Bridge. The third level, passed. This Qingyu actually cleared 2 levels consecutively. Ba Fen muttered to himself. It seems this generation also produced a monster. Ba Fen exclaimed, then a glint flashed in his eyes. This news must be sent out immediately. Let those little guys see what a true genius is called. And also to stimulate them. Also, send a copy to the Grandmasters of the Cosmic Stream faction. Soon, a notification was sent via the virtual universe network to all the geniuses of this generation in Primordial Chaos City. Mocha, Huang Li, and others all received Ba Fen's email immediately. Mocha was currently in his exclusive virtual universe training ground, holding a giant hammer, practicing a powerful and unparalleled hammer technique, drenched in sweat. Each swing caused space to vibrate, emitting a dull roar. Ha! Again. As long as I completely master this spatial rift tremor technique, I'm confident I can clear the second level of the heavenly bridge within 10 years. His eyes were focused, filled with strong self-confidence. Just then, beep, the smart assistant's notification sound rang out. Mocha paused, frowning slightly, an email from Overseer Ba Fen. It's already the 5th year, among these 1,000 people, those who should have cleared the first level should have done so by now, right? Could it be that someone is only now clearing the first level? He casually opened the email and scanned its content. Instantly, the focus and confidence on Mocha's face froze. The third level. The Universe Tongtian Bridge's third level. Mocha's voice trembled uncontrollably, filled with shock and bewilderment. 5 years. He only used 5 years. I haven't even touched the edge of the second level yet. Bitterness, disbelief, and a sense of powerlessness from being left far behind welled up in his heart. After a long while, Mocha let out a long sigh, which was then replaced by a deeper stubbornness. Qingyu, you guy, you really are, but I won't give up. At least, I can't even fail to see your back. Yu Meng was sitting quietly on the rooftop of her residence, purple halos, dreamlike and ethereal, swirling around her fingertips. Upon receiving the notification, she thought it was a cultivation reminder and casually opened the email. Yu Meng's purple eyes first erupted with brilliant light, then were submerged by deeper, complex emotions, admiration, affection. Qingyu, I won't be left too far behind by you. Never. She lightly bit her lower lip, her eyes, however, showed a hint of stubbornness. Xing Hen, as the second-place finisher in this generation's genius battle, always had his pride. Inside the cultivation chamber, he was deducing a set of exquisite sword techniques, his eyes sharp and confident. If this Star Array 9 transformations is refined a bit more, my comprehension of the law of space will definitely advance further. Qingyu, choosing the most difficult cosmic chaos monument. Wait for me. His self-muttering was interrupted by the notification sound before he could finish. He casually opened it, and upon seeing the content, the confidence and composure on his face instantly collapsed. His face turned ashen, his eyes filled with extreme shock, unwillingness, and a hint of collapse. The third level. He cleared the third level. The Universe Tongtian Bridge's third level. 5 years. Why is the gap so big? I'm clearly cultivating desperately too. The entire generation of geniuses was completely shaken by the news that Qingyu had cleared the Universe Tongtian Bridge's third level in 5 years. This was no longer a simple lead, but a crushing, fault-rolling. The pride of countless geniuses was shattered, leaving only wails and gazes of awe. In Snow Prison King's palace, Purple Abyss King's figure instantly appeared, a playful smile on his face. Snow Prison, you misjudged this time, didn't you? Tisk tisk, I really didn't expect this little guy, without a sound, in 5 years, directly cleared 2 levels and took down the Universe Tongtian Bridge's third level. Snow Prison King slowly opened his eyes, his gaze still cold and stern. He had obviously also received the news, but there was not much surprise on his face, only indifference. The first 3 levels are merely the introduction to the Cosmic Chaos Monument. Snow Prison King's voice was flat, devoid of emotion. It means he has a preliminary grasp of the superficial aspects of the first picture, nothing more. Starting from the 4th level, that's where the real difficulty begins. The path he has chosen, the further he goes, the greater the bottlenecks. Purple Abyss King leaned against a jade pillar nearby and laughed. All right, stop being stubborn. I know you're definitely surprised inside too. The comprehension this little guy has shown absolutely deserves the words, stunning. He paused, with a hint of mischief. Speaking of which, your Cosmic Stream faction has few Grandmasters teaching in Primordial Chaos City. Besides you, only King Zhou Mu occasionally shows up. The other few are either cultivating in seclusion or have gone adventuring in the cosmic secret realm. This little guy has now cleared the 3rd level, so he's qualified to listen to a Grandmaster's lecture. According to the rules, which Grandmaster's class he attends first basically represents which Grandmaster he wants to apprentice under. Guess if he'll come to you, Snow Prison King. Snow Prison King was silent for a moment, his gaze still firm, even with a hint of ruthlessness. If he truly comes to apprentice under me, accepting him would actually harm him. The Cosmic Stream faction is profound and extensive, yet also extremely difficult, Snow Prison King said slowly. That he can clear the first 3 levels at universe rank shows indeed good comprehension. But this might precisely make him even more persistent on this wrong path, going further and further down the wrong road, wasting the most valuable time for building his foundation. When he later wastes thousands of years at the 4th and 5th levels, unable to advance, and is left far behind by his peers, he will naturally understand that he should cut his losses in time. Only then will he know how to choose the path most suitable for him. If I accept him now, giving him illusory hope, it will only make him sink deeper. Snow Prison King closed his eyes and said no more. What he had decided, he would not easily change. Purple Abyss King looked at his friend's stubborn and unyielding expression, shaking his head helplessly. You guy, you're just too stubborn. Too rigid. The path of a genius should be for them to forge themselves, to make mistakes. Your cut losses in time theory might be correct when applied to mediocre talents, but not every. He didn't finish his sentence, just smiled helplessly. Fine, have it your way. I'm just reminding you not to regret it later. Chapter 34 Note. Virtual Universe, Original Zone, Estate No. 114. Marquis Tianyi looked at Qingyu, who had just returned, his eyes filled with unconcealed satisfaction. Good, good, good. Marquis Tianyi said 3 goods in a row, then stepped forward and patted Qingyu's shoulder with force. The 3rd level. Qingyu, in 5 years, you've cleared 2 levels. This speed far exceeds my expectations. Qingyu bowed respectfully. Teacher, you flatter me. Without your careful guidance, this disciple would not have been able to master the latter 6 secret techniques of myriad tribulations and integrate them in such a short time. Marquis Tianyi waved his hand, a smile on his face. No need to be modest, this is your own talent and effort. He changed the subject, his expression serious. However, Qingyu, you've passed the 3rd level. This means you are qualified to listen to the lectures of a Grand Master. Marquis Tianyi said solemnly. The Grand Masters, who can give lectures in Primordial Chaos City are at least champion undying who have cleared the 18th level of the Heavenly Bridge. Their insights and understanding of laws are far beyond what I, a Marquis, can compare to. Their guidance can help you avoid countless detours. In Primordial Chaos City, cultivators from the 5 peak powers and a few lone wanderers gather. The Grandmasters who give lectures also belong to different powers or factions, Marquis Tianyi explained in detail. As for our universe stream. He paused, his tone carrying a hint of helplessness. The universe stream is profound and abstruse, and those who choose it are inherently few. Naturally, there are also few who can achieve Grandmaster status and are willing to give lectures. As far as I know, there are currently only 2 Grandmasters of the universe stream who regularly teach in Primordial Chaos City. The first is King Zuo. Marquis Tianyi said. King Zuo is a champion expert from the Great Axe battleground. With unfathomable strength. But he has a reclusive personality, and his lecture times are extremely irregular. Sometimes he lectures once a year, sometimes, once every 10 years or more. To hear his lecture, you need to be lucky. The second is Snow Prison King. Marquis Tianyi looked at Qingyu, his eyes filled with anticipation. Snow Prison King is a champion expert from our very own Virtual Universe Corporation. He is relatively more stable, giving lectures twice a year in Primordial Chaos City. Both his strength and status are unquestionable. Marquis Tianyi's tone became somewhat grave. However, Qingyu, you must know that Grandmasters are extremely discerning when taking disciples. Especially Snow Prison King. He has a cold and stern personality, and his requirements for disciples are extremely strict. Over countless years, he has only publicly acknowledged 3 disciples. Marquis Tianyi's eyes held encouragement, but also a hint of imperceptible worry. Although Snow Prison King's standards for taking disciples are extremely high, I, your teacher, believe you are worth a try. You cleared the 3rd level of the Universe Tongtian Bridge in 5 years. This level of comprehension should be enough to attract Snow Prison King's attention. Even if you fail to become his disciple, being able to attend a Grandmaster's lecture will certainly be of great benefit to your future path. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, just do your best. This disciple understands. Qingyu nodded steadily. 5 years had passed since Qingyu last comprehended the Chaos Tablet. He had accumulated a great deal of insights and questions, and clearing the 3rd level had earned him another opportunity. It's time to go comprehend it again. Qingyu once again came to the city lord's mansion. In front of that huge bronze door, Kandri was still there, as if unchanging through the ages. Lord Kandri. Qingyu bowed respectfully. Kandri opened his 3rd eye and looked at Qingyu, a gentle smile appearing on his benevolent face. Ah, it's Qingyu. You've cleared the 3rd level, so now you have 3 opportunities for comprehension. I'd like to use one, Qingyu said calmly. Go ahead, the Cosmic Chaos Monument is currently unoccupied. Kandri nodded, and the bronze door opened. He watched Qingyu's steady figure enter the secret chamber, and a glimmer of emotion flashed in his 3rd eye. I originally thought this little fellow's choice of the Cosmic Chaos Monument was a reckless move, but I never expected he actually made a name for himself, clearing 3 levels in just 5 years. I hope he can maintain this momentum. In the Cosmic Chaos Monument secret chamber, Qingyu sat cross-legged, his gaze instantly drawn to the 10 diagrams. He directly skipped the still water diagram, which he had completely mastered, and focused all his attention on the 2nd diagram, the ripple diagram. On the stone tablet, circles of invisible yet seemingly containing infinite profound mysteries rippled out from the center point, layer upon layer, endless. Each ripple was a vibration and transmission of the laws of space and time. So complex. Qingyu's consciousness immersed itself within. These layered ripples corresponded to the 54 secret techniques of the 2nd level of myriad tribulations. According to the rule that every 18 secret techniques correspond to 1 level of the heavenly bridge, these 54 secret techniques would support him in challenging the 4th, 5th, and even 6th levels. Qingyu dared not be greedy, focusing all his consciousness on the 1st layer, which was the closest to the center and the most basic of those ripple circles. As his comprehension deepened, Qingyu could feel the difficulty of this 2nd diagram increasing exponentially. Every subtle fluctuation involved countless linkages of space-time laws, making comprehension extremely mentally taxing. Progress was far from as smooth and fast as when he first comprehended the 1st diagram. In fact, what Snow Prison King said was right, the 1st diagram was just an introduction. As long as one was willing to spend time, many geniuses could comprehend this diagram. The 2nd diagram was the truly difficult beginning. Without special opportunities or deeper accumulation, the speed of progress from now on will likely really slow down, Qingyu mused, a hint of gravity rising in his heart, but it did not shake his resolve. He didn't know how much time had passed. Come out, a low voice echoed directly in Qingyu's mind. It's time again. Qingyu dared not delay and immediately got up and walked out of the secret chamber. At this time, in a certain part of the Virtual Universe Corporation's highest beginning mythical region. Inside a magnificent palace, a majestic being with reddish-brown long hair, black eyes, and skin as clear as jade, whose appearance was extremely similar to Earthlings, slowly opened his eyes. His eyes were as deep as the cosmic starry sky, containing indescribable vicissitudes and wisdom. An invisible pressure caused the surrounding space-time to congeal. He had just finished a long period of secluded cultivation. He let out a soft breath. This time in seclusion, he still failed to make a breakthrough, but his state of mind seemed to have become a little clearer. The path of cultivation is long and endless. I haven't been able to take that step, perhaps. I can look at the outside world. Retrieve the detailed information of the recent, cosmic human peak genius battles, especially those ranked at the top, he calmly instructed. A vast stream of information appeared, and his gaze calmly swept over the names and images of the geniuses. Soon, a name caught his attention: Qingyu. Chose the Cosmic Chaos Monument. Cleared the 3rd level in 5 years. A hint of imperceptible surprise flashed in his eyes. He's quite a stubborn little fellow. He pulled up more detailed information about Qingyu, including his origin, growth trajectory, battle footage, and records of clearing the Heavenly Bridge. Chapter 35, Rejection of Apprenticeship. His talent doesn't seem to be top tier, but his comprehension and tenacity are indeed good, he muttered to himself, his eyes holding a hint of scrutiny and interest. To still insist on this path even after Qinglin and 9 Swords advised him to give up, he has some character. To an existence like him, he had seen countless geniuses, but what he cared more about was character and will. A ripple appeared in the heart of this majestic existence. He had cultivated for endless years and was a very ancient existence among the entire human race, having long stood at the peak. However, the step to becoming a universe lord remained like an uncrossable chasm, and long periods of secluded cultivation still failed to bridge it. Perhaps, I should try a different approach, adjust my state of mind. A thought quietly arose, and his gaze once again fell upon Qingyu's information. Take a disciple. It has been a very, very long time since I last had that thought. This little fellow, a faint, almost imperceptible curve appeared at the corner of his mouth. Fine, I'll give this little fellow a chance. Let's see if he can seize it, he murmured to himself. Days later, in Primordial Chaos City, in front of a special palace constructed entirely of black ice crystals. Qingyu's figure appeared at the palace entrance. The palace gate was wide open, revealing an extremely spacious square inside. At this moment, many figures were already sitting cross-legged. Judging from their aura, most were sector lords, world lords, and there were even a few undying spiritual gods. The total number of people was several hundred. This is the place, Qingyu thought to himself. Whispers from other cultivators came from nearby. Hurry and go in, today is the day Snow Prison King lectures again. I heard he's going to explain the first 3 diagrams of the Universe Chaos Tablet this time, what a rare opportunity. I hope to gain something. Qingyu stepped into the square, found a spot, and sat down. His arrival drew some attention, as his universe rank aura was quite noticeable in the crowd. Someone recognized him and whispered, "Huh, why is there a universe rank here? I know, that's Qingyu, the first place winner of this year's Virtual Universe Corporation Genius Battle. He should have passed the 3rd level of the Heavenly Bridge and is qualified to attend the Grandmaster's lecture. How long has it been? I remember they only entered Primordial Chaos City 5 years ago. We really can't compare to these geniuses." Qingyu ignored the surrounding discussions, closed his eyes to rest, and quietly waited for the lecture to begin. As soon as the time came, buzz. An icy, vast, and utterly powerful pressure, as if capable of freezing time and space, suddenly descended. The entire square instantly became so quiet that a pin drop could be heard. A figure silently appeared on the high platform at the very front of the square. He wore black battle armor, his face as stern as 10,000-year-old profound ice, and his gaze swept over everyone without a trace of emotion. It was Snow Prison King. Behind him, 2 of his 3 disciples stood respectfully. Today, I will explain the first 3 diagrams of the Universe Chaos Tablet. Snow Prison King's voice was flat and emotionless. He wasted no time with unnecessary words and began directly. He raised his hand and pointed into the void, and complex 3-dimensional patterns composed of countless law-secret lines instantly formed and evolved. This is the first diagram, the operation of fundamental laws. Many people fall into a misconception, it should be like this. Hundreds of cultivators in the square, regardless of their realm, all held their breath and listened intently. Snow Prison King was indeed a grandmaster, breaking down the 3 diagrams into digestible parts and explaining them very clearly. Each person's accumulation, comprehension, and understanding differed, leading to different interpretations. Some frowned, deep in thought, others showed ecstatic expressions, as if they had grasped a crucial point. Qingyu was even more focused, his gaze fixed on the evolving secret lines. He had just comprehended the second, ripple diagram, and now, listening to Snow Prison King's explanation, the previously obscure and difficult parts became clear, further solidifying his intention to become a disciple. 3 days later, Snow Prison King stopped, his voice still flat as he said, "That will be all for today. Thank you, teacher." Hundreds of cultivators in the square all respectfully bowed. After bowing, everyone began to exit in an orderly fashion. Just then, Qingyu moved. He took a deep breath and strode to the foot of the high platform, stopping about 10 steps from Snow Prison King. Following the rules of Primordial Chaos City, he bowed deeply to Snow Prison King. "Disciple Qingyu, humbly requests teacher to accept me as your disciple." Qingyu's voice was clear, steady, and filled with utmost sincerity, echoing throughout the entire square. The crowd, who had been preparing to leave, all stopped in their tracks. Hundreds of gazes simultaneously focused on Qingyu. Everyone knew how strict Snow Prison King was in accepting disciples, and they also knew that Qingyu was the first-place winner of the Genius Battle, a genius who had passed the 3rd level of the Universe Tongtian Bridge in 5 years. His request to become a disciple naturally attracted attention. On the high platform, Snow Prison King's gaze finally fell upon Qingyu. A brief silence, as if time had frozen. Snow Prison King slowly spoke, his voice flat and emotionless, yet carrying an undeniable authority. "I have no plans to accept disciples in the near future." A rejection. Qingyu maintained his bowing posture, his body stiffening slightly. Although Marquis Tianyi had told him not to feel too much pressure, and he himself had mentally prepared, it was impossible not to feel a sense of loss at being rejected now. Qingyu struggled to maintain a calm expression, slowly straightening up. The square was very quiet, no one mocked him. Those who could come here to listen to the lecture were not fools. Qingyu's displayed potential was clear for all to see, and his future achievements were likely to far surpass theirs. Snow Prison King's rejection was merely due to his overly strict personal selection criteria. No one would mock a genius for being rejected by Snow Prison King. More of the gazes held a hint of sympathy and regret. "Qingyu understands." Qingyu looked up, meeting Snow Prison King's icy gaze. He bowed slightly again, then silently turned and calmly left the square. In the virtual universe, Qingyu went straight back to his number 114 manor. Marquis Tianyi's figure appeared beside Qingyu almost instantly. He looked at Qingyu's calm, unruffled face, but deep in his eyes, there was a hint of imperceptible tension and concern. "How was it?" Marquis Tianyi's voice was a bit lower than usual, his gaze fixed on Qingyu. "Snow Prison King." Qingyu shook his head slightly, his movement very small, but the meaning was already very clear. A clear flicker of disappointment crossed Marquis Tianyi's eyes, which he quickly suppressed, transforming into a soft sigh. He stepped forward, patted Qingyu's shoulder, his tone comforting. "Don't take it to heart. Snow Prison King's temperament is like that, and his standards are extremely high. It's not your fault. Moreover, a genius's growth doesn't necessarily require a grandmaster as a teacher. You have already proven your talent and potential, and the road ahead is still vast. With me as your teacher, guiding you in the early stages is more than enough. When you are older." Marquis Tianyi's words of comfort were not yet finished. Beep. "Master, special attention, email from the Virtual Universe Core System has been received, marked as top priority." Chapter 36, Email from the Lord of the Eclipse Palace. Qingyu's smart assistant suddenly chimed. "Special attention, email." Qingyu opened it and scanned it. The email's suffix was, Sky Eclipse Palace Lord. As a transmigrator, Qingyu still had an impression of this name, a top-tier universe overlord. "Teacher," Qingyu looked at Marquis Tianyi. "Sky Eclipse Palace Lord sent me an email." "What? Sky Eclipse Palace Lord?" Marquis Tianyi's voice suddenly rose, filled with disbelief. The relief and rationality on his face were instantly replaced by shock. He didn't even care about losing his composure, taking a step in front of Qingyu, his tone extremely urgent. "Quick, open it and see. What's the content?" Qingyu immediately clicked on the email. The email content was very concise. "Qingyu, I have reviewed your record of challenging the Heavenly Bridge. In the Path of the Universe Chaos Tablet, your talent is barely adequate, but your willpower is acceptable, and your comprehension is good. If you can pass the 7th level of the Universe Tongtian Bridge before your 30-year period in Primordial Chaos City expires, I, Sky Eclipse, will accept you as my disciple. If you fail, this agreement will be void. Additionally, I will apply to the corporation to grant you 10 extra opportunities to comprehend the Universe Chaos Tablet. Sky Eclipse Palace Lord. After reading the email, Qingyu hadn't even had time to react. The moment he saw the content of the email, his body was already trembling slightly with excitement. He suddenly looked at Qingyu, an unprecedented light bursting from his eyes, his voice trembling with extreme reverence and excitement. Qingyu, you must succeed. You must seize this opportunity. This is Sky Eclipse Palace Lord. Afraid that Qingyu didn't know what kind of existence Sky Eclipse Palace Lord was, Marquis Tianyi immediately emphasized to Qingyu in an extremely solemn tone. Your Lord of Qinglin Kingdom of the Qinglin Universe Kingdom, Ninesword Exalt. Although they are also Universe Exalts, compared to Sky Eclipse Palace Lord, neither their status nor their strength is on the same level. They must even show 3 points of deference to Sky Eclipse Palace Lord. One person suppresses the Blood Luo world, his might dominating the vast star sea for countless years. A single thought from him is enough to determine the rise and fall of countless civilizations. To be able to become his disciple is an unparalleled opportunity. It is enough to give your future path infinite possibilities. As a transmigrator, when he first awakened his memories, he did fantasize about becoming a disciple of Primordial Chaos City Lord like Luo Feng, but that was ultimately a distant dream. Now, to be able to receive a test personally bestowed by Sky Eclipse Palace Lord and be granted the opportunity to become his disciple, there was nothing more to be dissatisfied with. Marquis Tianyi stared at Qingyu with burning eyes. The 7th level. Difficult. As difficult as ascending to heaven. But Qingyu, this is an opportunity to reach the true peak. It's an opportunity worth risking everything for. Do you understand? Qingyu met Marquis Tianyi's excited and expectant gaze, his voice steady, yet containing an unyielding and undeniable power. Teacher, I understand. The 7th level, this disciple will certainly do his utmost. Your teacher will also help you. Marquis Tianyi nodded, also making a certain resolution. Marquis Tianyi's excitement calmed down slightly, and he added in a solemn tone. Qingyu, Sky Eclipse Palace Lord's favor is a tremendous opportunity. But before that, you must first go and pay respects to Ninesword Exalt. Marquis Tianyi explained. Ninesword Exalt is your direct exalt. According to the Virtual Universe Corporation's rules, once you break through to Undying, you will be under his command. Sky Eclipse Palace Lord's status is extraordinary. If he accepts you as his disciple, in the future, you will naturally no longer be under Ninesword Exalt's jurisdiction. But both in terms of emotion and reason, you should personally inform Ninesword Exalt. Moreover, Marquis Tianyi paused. Given Sky Eclipse Palace Lord's status, his intention to accept you as his disciple is certainly no secret among the higher-ups. Ninesword Exalt must already know. Your proactive visit is a matter of courtesy and also an attitude. Qingyu understood in his heart, he was not an ignorant bumpkin. This disciple understands. I will go and pay respects to the Exalt now, Qingyu said in a deep voice. Virtual Universe, Ninesword Exalt's exclusive plane. Inside the magnificent temple, the atmosphere was different from usual. Ninesword Exalt sat on his throne, his usually stern and majestic face now bearing a hint of complexity. Sky Eclipse Palace Lord actually took a liking to Qingyu. Ninesword Exalt muttered to himself in a low voice, his brows tightly furrowed. He recalled his previous evaluation of Qingyu, biting off more than he can chew, self-righteous, wrong path, a lesson. For a moment, he felt a mix of emotions. He presided over the genius battle with the intention of discovering talents for his own use. When Qingyu displayed his talent, although he disagreed with his path, he had a glimmer of hope. But later, when he saw Qingyu choose the Universe Chaos Tablet, he felt more disappointment and skepticism. Now, this young man whom he didn't favor, and even thought had gone astray, was taken notice of by Sky Eclipse Palace Lord, whose status and strength surpassed his, and was given a test to be accepted as a disciple. Did I misjudge him, missing a true genius? Ninesword Exalt did not believe that an existence like Sky Eclipse Palace Lord would randomly accept disciples. It must be that some excellent quality in Qingyu that he was unaware of had been discovered. Just then, a respectful announcement came from outside the temple from an attendant. Exalt. Primitive Mystical Region member Qingyu requests an audience. Ninesword Exalt's eyes moved slightly. He quickly composed the complex expression on his face, returning to his usual majestic and stern demeanor, and said in a deep voice, "Let him in." Qingyu's figure appeared in the temple, his step steady, and he respectfully bowed. Qingyu greets the Exalt. Ninesword Exalt's gaze was like a torch, falling upon Qingyu, as if to re-examine him. This time, he looked exceptionally carefully. After a long moment, he slowly spoke, his voice betraying no emotion. "Qingyu, your matter, this Exalt already knows. Sky Eclipse Palace Lord is a pillar of our human race. To gain his favor is your great fortune. Since you have this opportunity, you must go all out and not disappoint Sky Eclipse Palace Lord's expectations, and also not disgrace your status as a primitive mystical region member." He was, after all, an Exalt, and quickly adjusted his mindset. His words contained encouragement, but also a hint of admonition. "I respectfully obey the Exalt's teachings." Qingyu bowed again. "Go, cultivate well. The 7th level of the Heavenly Bridge is not easy." Ninesword Exalt waved his hand, his tone carrying a hint of complexity that even he didn't detect. Qingyu takes his leave. Qingyu respectfully bowed, and his figure slowly disappeared from the temple. Meanwhile, in a certain palace in Primordial Chaos City, Purple Abyss King's figure appeared almost instantly in Snow Prison King's place of quiet cultivation, his face showing undisguised teasing and astonishment. "Snow Prison. Guess what? That young man you rejected has been noticed by Sky Eclipse Palace Lord." Sky Eclipse Palace Lord personally sent him an email, stating that as long as he can pass the 7th level of the Universe Tongtian Bridge within 30 years in Primordial Chaos City, he will accept him as his disciple. Snow Prison King, who had initially closed his eyes, not wanting to bother with Purple Abyss King, suddenly had his eyelids twitch when he heard the 4 words, Sky Eclipse Palace Lord. He abruptly opened his eyes, and a flicker of astonishment crossed the depths of his cold gaze. Sky Eclipse Palace Lord, accepting him as a disciple. Snow Prison King's voice was still cold and hard, but his speaking speed was noticeably faster. How could Sky Eclipse Palace Lord take a liking to him? Chapter 37, The Heart of the World. "You still won't admit you misjudged him, Snow Prison." Purple Abyss King observed Snow Prison King's reaction. Snow Prison King was silent for a few seconds before slowly speaking, his voice carrying its usual coldness and certainty. "Hey, Sky Eclipse Palace Lord," would actually look at him differently. "That's unexpected. But, the 7th level." He changed the subject, his tone filled with undeniable negation. "To pass the 7th level within 30 years. Absolutely impossible. The Universe Tongtian Bridge, each level is a new heaven. The 4th level is already a difficult threshold, and the 5th level is the bottleneck for countless geniuses. Let alone the 6th and 7th levels. For Qingyu to pass the 5th level within 30 years, that would already be astonishing. The 7th level. A fool's dream." Snow Prison King closed his eyes again, as if to shut out the outside world's disturbances, his voice returning to absolute coldness. "Although Sky Eclipse Palace Lord intends to take him as a disciple, it's futile if he can't meet the requirements for apprenticeship. My previous judgment was not wrong." Purple Abyss King looked at his friend's cold, "I've seen through everything," demeanor, shrugging helplessly, no longer arguing, but a hint of anticipation for a good show flickered in his eyes. He knew that Snow Prison King's stubbornness was ingrained in his bones, he would never admit he might have misjudged until the very end. Qingyu returned to his small building in Primordial Chaos City, quickly calming down and beginning to ponder the most realistic problem. 30 years in Primordial Chaos City, nearly 5 years have passed, leaving me with, at most, about 25 years. Qingyu quickly calculated in his mind. The Universe Tongtian Bridge 7th level, this goal stood before him like a towering divine mountain. Qingyu clearly remembered that in the original work, Luo Feng's generation was hailed as the most outstanding in tens of thousands of eras, yet Luo Feng only reached the 5th level of the Heavenly Bridge when he left Primordial Chaos City, and the first-ranked Bolin only reached the 6th level. Originally, my plan was, Qingyu's eyes were focused. 2. Within 10 years, based on my comprehension of the first 18 secret techniques of the 2nd level of Myriad Tribulations, combined with the Chaos Tablet's guidance, fully assault the 4th level. Then spend about 15 more years to assault the 5th level. But now, he felt the heavy weight of that email. The 7th level. This means I must continuously cross the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th levels within the remaining 25 years. 4 heavenly chasms. The pressure was unprecedentedly immense. But there was no trace of retreat in Qingyu's eyes, instead, an even more fervent flame of fighting spirit ignited. Beneath his calm and reserved personality was an unyielding soul. Compress time to the extreme. Squeeze every bit of insight dry. Qingyu thought fiercely. The Myriad Tribulation's 2nd level secret techniques must be comprehended faster. The opportunities to comprehend the Chaos Tablet must be used effectively. All energy, fully invested. He no longer thought much, immediately sat cross-legged, his consciousness sinking into the text and diagrams of the Myriad Tribulation's 2nd level secret techniques. At the same time, the layered ripples of the universe chaos tablets, ripple diagram, in his mind reappeared, mutually verifying and deducing with the secret techniques. One day, while Qingyu was comprehending a secret technique on the rooftop of his residence in Primordial Chaos City, his intelligent assistant suddenly popped up a notification. Your Highness Qingyu, your item has arrived in Primordial Chaos City and requires your personal collection. Qingyu opened his eyes, a hint of confusion flashing within them. He hadn't exchanged any items in the treasure vault. Recently, and Sky Eclipse Palace Lord had only given him 10 additional opportunities to comprehend the Chaos Tablet as a reward, with no physical rewards. What could it be? With his confusion, Qingyu went to the item reception area. After identity verification, a silver box, entirely made of special metal with complex secret patterns flowing on its surface, was handed to him. Returning to his small building in Primordial Chaos City, Qingyu carefully opened the box. At its center lay a strange crystal, fist-sized, perfectly spherical, seemingly condensed from the purest starlight and chaotic airflow. It had no dazzling light, yet it exuded a deep, vast aura, as if connected to the very origin of the universe. Just by looking at it, Qingyu felt his soul tremble slightly, resonating strangely with the surrounding law fluctuations. What is this? Qingyu widened his eyes, examining it closely. Qingyu had never seen this object before, only feeling that it contained a strange law profoundness that made him want to swallow it whole. Just then, the intelligent assistant prompted again. It was a communication request from Marquis Tianyi. Qingyu immediately connected to the virtual universe, appearing in manner 114. Marquis Tianyi was already waiting there, with a hint of undetectable fatigue on his face, but his eyes were unusually bright and gentle, even carrying a trace of anticipation. Teacher. Qingyu bowed, his gaze questioning, and at the same time, projected the strange starlight chaos crystal. This disciple just received an unknown item. Its aura is extremely peculiar, I wonder. It's good that you received it. Marquis Tianyi looked at the projection, a relieved smile on his face. This is something your teacher prepared for you, the World Heart. World Heart. Qingyu murmured the unfamiliar name, his confusion deepening. Yes, the World Heart. Marquis Tianyi's tone became solemn. This item is extremely precious. So precious that, your teacher had to shamelessly use up all the favors accumulated over countless years and nearly his entire fortune to barely exchange for this one. Qingyu's heart trembled. His teacher had paid such a huge price. As an undying Marquis of the Virtual Universe Corporation, Marquis Tianyi's connections and wealth were far beyond what an ordinary undying Marquis could compare to. Qingyu immediately realized the extraordinary value of this item and subconsciously searched for World Heart in the Virtual Universe Treasure Vault system. However, the search result, none. Insufficient permissions, or the item is not in the retrieval directory. A cold prompt appeared. Qingyu's pupils contracted. As a primitive mystical region member, his permissions were extremely high. He could even search for rare resources that many undying marquises might not be able to exchange for. This world heart couldn't even be searched for. Its value and secrecy far exceeded his imagination. This was definitely no ordinary treasure. Teacher, this item is too precious. This disciple feels unworthy, Qingyu immediately said, his tone carrying heavy pressure. Teacher, you. Marquis Tianyi waved his hand, interrupting Qingyu's words, a magnanimous and slightly melancholic smile on his face. Qingyu, no need to decline. Since your teacher gave it to you, there's naturally a reason. First, let me finish explaining its function. He looked deeply at the projection. The world heart is one of the auxiliary materials for forging a Source Supreme Treasure. Source Supreme Treasure. Qingyu's heart was greatly shaken. As a transmigrator, he knew about Source Supreme Treasures. Those were supreme treasures that could allow universe exalts and universe lords to quickly recover their divine bodies, serving as a strategic trump card in racial wars. Their value, to some extent, even far exceeded ordinary attack and defense supreme treasures. Chapter 38, Advancing at 1,000 miles a day. Please read. Although it is only an auxiliary material, its preciousness is evident. Marquis Tianyi continued. Of course, giving it to you is not for you to forge a true treasure, that's too far off. Its other heaven-defying effect is crucial for your current challenge to the Sky Eclipse Palace Lord's trial. It allows your consciousness to enter the Universe Origin Land, prematurely, even before reaching World Lord rank. Universe Origin Land. The core of the primordial universe. The place where the 10 great origin laws manifest most clearly and directly. When consciousness descends upon the origin land, it's like facing the laws themselves. Comprehending laws there is hundreds, even thousands of times more effective than usual. Marquis Tianyi's eyes gleamed with a burning light. It can greatly shorten the time you spend comprehending laws. This is an indispensable aid for you to challenge the 7th level. Qingyu completely understood, and he was thoroughly shocked by the value of this gift and his teacher's thoughtfulness. Teacher, Qingyu's voice carried an unprecedented weight and gratitude. This kindness, your disciple. Qingyu. Marquis Tianyi interrupted him again, his smile becoming exceptionally gentle, even carrying a hint of elder-like benevolence. I have been stuck at the peak of the Marquis rank for hundreds of millions of years. The bottleneck is like a mountain, difficult to surmount. Mixed element units. Points. To me, they are already external possessions. No amount of them can buy a single opportunity for a breakthrough. He looked at Qingyu, his gaze filled with sincere expectation. Watching you create miracles step by step, I, your teacher, seem to see another possibility. Rather than letting those riches, which are useless to me, gather dust, it's better to use them to help you. I, your teacher, consider this a kind of investment. Marquis Tianyi's tone was relaxed, with a hint of benevolent jest. You, kid, were taken as a disciple by the Sky Eclipse Palace Lord. If you become a super existence famous throughout the universe in the future, at that time, just don't forget to give me, your guide, teacher, a leg up. Ha ha. This jest diluted the solemn atmosphere, yet it showed even more genuine affection. Qingyu looked at the unfeigned expectation, magnanimity, and deep-seated trust in his teacher's eyes, and a strong warm current surged through his entire body. He was well aware of the cruelty of the universe, and even more so of how precious this unreserved support was. From his initial duty to this current selfless aid, treating him as his own, he engraved the friendship of his teacher, Marquis Tianyi, in his heart. He no longer declined, took a deep breath, and solemnly bowed to Marquis Tianyi. Teacher will always be Qingyu's teacher. Qingyu will certainly engrave the kindness of his teacher's cultivation in his heart. His words were firm and resounding. Marquis Tianyi smiled with satisfaction and patted Qingyu's shoulder hard. Good. Go, merge the world heart. You are only universe rank now, so you cannot continuously enter the universe origin land. The effect of the world heart will last for about 100 to 120 years. Seize this opportunity well. However, Marquis Tianyi did not know that using the world heart in this way for a universe rank would have a significant limitation or hidden danger. Qingyu naturally didn't know either. He also wanted to try the effect of the world heart sooner, so he said no more and withdrew his consciousness from the virtual universe. In reality, he sat cross-legged on the rooftop, carefully holding the world heart, which carried his teacher's hopes and efforts, in his palm. Feeling the vast and boundless origin aura within it, he no longer hesitated. His mental power slowly enveloped it, guiding this precious crystal to slowly merge into the center of his brow. The moment the world heart completely merged into the core of his sea of consciousness, Qingyu clearly felt that the slowly rotating eight-armed vortex core seemed to be infused with an indescribable power. World power. Qingyu instantly understood in his heart. This power, which should only be born after the inner world of a world lord rank takes shape, was now budding prematurely in the core of his sea of consciousness. This world power was not actively driven by him, but rather vibrated spontaneously at a peculiar frequency, as if resonating with some vast, unseen existence. Qingyu no longer suppressed it, yielding to the pull of this resonance, and submerged most of his consciousness into it. Boom! An indescribable sensation, like returning to the cosmic mother body, of warmth and vastness, instantly engulfed his consciousness completely. The boundaries of space and time blurred. His perception was infinitely elevated, infinitely extended, finally descending upon the endless land at the source of all laws. Qingyu's consciousness, as tiny as a speck of dust, was absorbed into a grain of sand. The fluctuations of the 10 great origin laws, gold, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, light, space, and time, had never been so clear, so directly revealed in his perception. If the clarity of my lower tier laws before was 1 foot, then now it's 1 or 2,000. Qingyu silently felt, comparing it to his time in primordial chaos city. The clarity of the space law and time law is over 10,000. Although the clarity of my upper tier laws has always been very high. But this is too astonishing. Is this the advantage of a world lord rank consciousness descending upon the universe origin land? A monstrous wave surged in Qingyu's heart. Cultivating and comprehending laws in this state, it's more than just rapid progress. It's simply reaching the heavens in a single step. The immense surprise was instantly replaced by an even stronger will to cultivate. Such a great opportunity was right before him, how could he waste even a fraction of it? Myriad Tribulation's second-level secret technique. Qingyu, without hesitation, immediately dedicated his entire mind to comprehending the first 18 secret techniques of the second level of Myriad Tribulations. Myriad Tribulations was originally created for comprehending laws, and in this universe origin land, its effect reached an unprecedented level. Countless sparks of inspiration burst forth in his consciousness like the starbursts at the beginning of the universe. A crucial node that previously took months to deduce now became clear in an instant. So that's how it is. The superposition of space-time vibrations needs to follow the law of ripple co-frequency. The trajectory off-space scar step actually conforms to the decay pattern of the first layer of the ripple diagram. All sorts of insights surged forth like a floodgate opening. Qingyu greedily absorbed, deduced, and verified, completely immersed in this unprecedented tide of enlightenment. Time seemed to lose its meaning here. The first 18 secret techniques of the second level of Myriad Tribulations, which were originally estimated to take 10 years to master, Qingyu's consciousness swam in the ocean of laws, feeling his comprehension rapidly grow, his heart filled with absolute certainty. Now, only 3 years. I will thoroughly comprehend and master them. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. However, just as this engrossed comprehension continued for about 3 years, an indescribable sense of heaviness suddenly descended. That feeling did not come from physical fatigue, but from the deepest part of his consciousness. Qingyu's thoughts instantly became sluggish, and the originally incomparably clear origin laws now appeared blurry and distorted. Chapter 39, 20 years. Qingyu tried to concentrate, but he felt his mental consciousness was on the verge of shattering. Qingyu gasped for air, and large beads of cold sweat instantly soaked his clothes, his body trembling uncontrollably. He forced his eyes open, his vision somewhat blurry, only feeling the world spinning and a buzzing sound all around him. What's going on? This feeling of my spirit being completely drained. Qingyu clutched his throbbing head, his face pale, his voice trembling. How long have I been in seclusion this time? Master, you have been in deep seclusion for a total of 3 years and 7 days, the intelligent assistant's voice responded. 3 years, Qingyu murmured, feeling the extreme exhaustion coming from his sea of consciousness. Is it because I'm only universe rank? This consciousness entering the universe origin to comprehend is truly terrifying for mental consumption. I can't sustain it for too long. However, the gains are also immense. Qingyu suppressed the severe pain and exhaustion in his mind, his eyes gleaming with excitement. The first 18 secret techniques of the second level of myriad tribulations have all been comprehended and mastered within 3 years. With my current understanding of laws and mastery of secret techniques, passing the heavenly bridge's 4th level should be no problem. Qingyu was confident. But I still have plenty of opportunities to comprehend the Chaos Tablet, so there's no need to challenge the heavenly bridge now. Qingyu rested for half a month before the fatigue in his mental consciousness gradually disappeared. It's time to go comprehend the Chaos Tablet again, there's no need to save opportunities now. Qingyu immediately set off for the City Lord's mansion. Deep within the magnificent City Lord's mansion, outside the Chaos Tablet's secret chamber. Ah, Qingyu, here to comprehend the Chaos Tablet again. Kandri, the bald giant, asked in his gentle, deep voice. Sky. Eclipse Palace Master gave you an additional 10 comprehension opportunities, plus the 2 you originally had, you now have a total of 12. Are you planning to use one this time? Yes, Senior Kandri, Qingyu respectfully bowed. Good, the Universe Chaos Tablet is currently not in use, go ahead, Kandri nodded and opened the secret chamber door. 7 days later, Qingyu emerged from the secret chamber with a deeper understanding of laws and a clearer direction for his cultivation. He returned to his residence's rooftop, his gaze as calm as still water, and once again guided his consciousness into the universe origin. Day after day, year after year, under the unchanging sky of primordial Chaos City, time quietly slipped away. Qingyu entered a fixed cycle. Comprehending secret techniques and laws in the universe origin with complete absorption, then, after about 3 years, his mental consciousness would reach its limit and be forced to stop. He would rest for half a month to recover, then go to the City Lord's mansion to comprehend the Chaos Tablet, and then re-enter the origin. 20 years passed in the blink of an eye. During this period, the other geniuses in primordial Chaos City also did not stop their progress. Mocha and Huang Li successively passed the Heavenly Bridge's 2nd level, occasionally meeting at gatherings in the virtual universe. That Qingyu fellow, it's been 20 years, why hasn't there been any movement from him? Mocha stroked his chin. With his momentum back then, he shouldn't be this silent. Could he really be stuck at the Universe Chaos Tablet? The difficulty of the Universe Chaos Tablet is well known, but I actually think he's accumulating strength. Don't forget, he suddenly passed the 2nd and 3rd levels consecutively before. Maybe he's preparing to give us a big surprise. Huang Li mused. Yu Meng also successfully passed the 2nd level, however, her heart remained uneasy. She knew that Qingyu had been in seclusion for these 20 years, never leaving his rooftop. 20 years of sitting in solitude. This long silence formed a stark contrast to Qingyu's dazzling breakthroughs in his first few years. Qingyu, how are you really doing? There was a hint of worry in her heart, but her trust remained firm. Finally, when Qingyu once again emerged from seclusion to comprehend the Chaos Tablet, Yu Meng could no longer hold back. She quickly walked to the closed door of Residence 01971652993 and waited quietly. Qingyu was walking back after comprehending the Chaos Tablet at the City Lord's mansion, the fatigue and pallor from prolonged mental stress still clearly visible on his brow. From afar, he saw that familiar figure standing at his door. Yu Meng. Qingyu was a little surprised, but seeing the unconcealed concern in her eyes, his heart warmed slightly, and he quickened his pace to walk over. Why are you here? How long have you been waiting? Not long, Yu Meng shook her head. I was just a little worried about you, her voice was very soft. It's been 20 years, Qingyu. You've been in seclusion and haven't challenged the Heavenly Bridge. Qingyu looked at the deep worry in Yu Meng's eyes, understanding, and a gentle smile appeared on his face, gesturing for her to walk into the living room of the small building with him. I made you worry. The Universe Chaos Tablet is indeed a bit more difficult than I expected, but it won't stop me. I actually had the confidence to pass the 4th level long ago. I just haven't challenged it because I plan to accumulate more, and then pass several levels at once. Yu Meng followed Qingyu inside, letting out a soft sigh of relief. It's good that you're all right. She paused, looking into Qingyu's eyes. I believe in you. No matter how long it takes, I believe you can do it. This unspoken trust and support, like a warm current, seemed to lighten the heavy pressure on Qingyu's heart a little. Meanwhile, inside Snow Prison King's luxurious palace. Zi Yuan, how is it? Snow Prison King's voice was calm and unruffled, a hint of triumph revealing itself in the slightly upturned corners of his mouth and the depths of his eyes. For a full 20 years, Qingyu hasn't challenged the 4th level. Was my judgment back then even half wrong? Purple Abyss King, seated opposite him, enveloped in a faint purple stardust mist, merely gazed at the light screen without immediately responding. Snow Prison King picked up the amber liquid condensed from energy beside him, gently swirled it, and spoke with a hint of pity in his tone. He has some comprehension ability, but unfortunately, he's ultimately a hot-blooded youth, too ambitious. He put down the cup, his voice echoing clearly in the palace. 20 years, not a single step forward. This is enough to prove that his choice of the Universe Chaos Tablet was a mistake. He not only missed the opportunity granted to him by Sky Eclipse Palace Master, but I'm afraid even his original sharpness will be completely worn away. What a pity, what a lament. However, all of this is within reason. He subtly closed his eyes, as if mourning a genius who had gone astray, but his expression was more like he was enjoying his accurate prediction. Purple Abyss King remained silent for a moment, his face, shrouded in stardust mist, showing no clear expression. 20 years of silence is not necessarily the end. An existence like Sky Eclipse Palace Master would not easily misjudge someone. Hey, Snow Prison King chuckled noncommittally. Then let us wait and see how long this genius, favored by Sky Eclipse Palace Master, will remain silent. Chapter 40, Burning Inspiration. In the highest beginning mythical region, within the palace of Sky Eclipse Palace Lord. Sky Eclipse Palace Lord, clad in a dark golden robe with his face shrouded in endless starlight, slowly opened his eyes. How many years have passed? He wasn't asking anyone in particular, but rather confirming the passage of time. Reporting to Palace Lord, 20 years have passed since you bestowed that trial upon Qingyu. 20 years, Sky Eclipse Palace Lord lightly tapped his finger in the void, and a virtual screen, visible only to him, immediately appeared, displaying Qingyu's information. Heavenly Bridge, which level has he reached? The attendant quickly checked, his voice carrying a hint of imperceptible surprise. Palace Lord, records show, ever since Qingyu passed the 3rd level 20 years ago, he has yet to step foot onto the Heavenly Bridge plane again. He has been in secluded cultivation in his residence. For the first time, a clear trace of doubt flashed across Sky Eclipse Palace Lord's ancient, unchanging eyes. 20 years, in secluded cultivation. This didn't align with his expectations. With the comprehension and temperament Qingyu had displayed, even if the Universe Chaos Tablet was difficult, he shouldn't have made no progress in 20 years. Investigate. What has he done in Primordial Chaos City these 20 years? Sky Eclipse Palace Lord's voice carried an undeniable authority. His permissions were extremely high, the virtual universe system was almost defenseless against him. Instantly, countless streams of information about Qingyu flooded his senses, including records of his frequent comprehension of the Chaos Tablet, and Marquis Tianyi's act of swallowing his pride to acquire the World Heart for him and the record of its delivery. World Heart. For the first time, a clear emotional fluctuation appeared on Sky Eclipse Palace Lord's usually placid face. This is utter nonsense. He instantly saw through Marquis Tianyi's intentions and immediately understood the hidden risks. Foolish. This Marquis Tianyi truly meant well but caused trouble. Sky Eclipse Palace Lord's voice was like cosmic ice. The World Heart forcefully guides the consciousness of one who has not yet reached World Lord rank into the cosmic origin land. How can a universe-ranked soul and will withstand that place? The cosmic origin land's torrent of laws will scour one's being. If one's will isn't strong enough, forcing entry will, at best, lead to mental collapse, with comprehension time as fleeting as a blink and minimal effect. At worst, it will damage the soul and hinder one's path. Sky Eclipse Palace Lord's status and authority clearly meant he was fully aware of the hidden dangers of the World Heart, making him even more displeased with Marquis Tianyi. To withstand its effects without repercussions, one needs at least World Lord rank will strength. How could this Marquis Tianyi be so reckless? Never mind. Let's see the current state of this Qingyu fellow. Sky Eclipse Palace Lord's powerful consciousness instantly swept through all of Qingyu's records in Primordial Chaos City. After the anger, it was replaced by immense surprise. This fellow, he's actually fine. Not only is he fine, he even goes to comprehend the Chaos Tablet every 3 years. The intervals are stable, although his spirit shows signs of fatigue, there are no signs of damage to his origin. This could only mean one thing. A universe rank level 1 actually possesses a will comparable to a World Lord rank. Even with Sky Eclipse Palace Lord's temperament, he felt astonished at this moment. He knew too well the importance of will. It was the cornerstone to reaching the peak, its value even surpassing certain talents. To possess a World Lord rank will at universe rank could be described as monstrous. This tenacity of character exceeded his initial assessment. Interesting, the shock and surprise in Sky Eclipse Palace Lord's eyes slowly receded, replaced by a deeper inquiry and a hint of genuine interest. With this will, even if his talent isn't exceptional, as long as he doesn't fall into an inescapable predicament, he will eventually become a powerful expert. Marquis Tianyi, although reckless and foolish, perhaps you truly stumbled upon a treasure by accident. Let's first see if this little fellow can complete my trial. Sky Eclipse Palace Lord felt a touch of anticipation. Residence number 01971659293, on the rooftop. Qingyu sat cross-legged, having just finished a session of comprehending the Chaos Tablet. His face still bore the pallor of prolonged mental stress, like someone recovering from a long illness. But his eyes were astonishingly bright, like a divine weapon about to be unsheathed, incomparably sharp, burning with an almost tangible flame of urgency. The myriad tribulations secret art, each level is a new heaven. Qingyu's consciousness sank deep into his sea of consciousness. Of the 18 secret arts in the second level of myriad tribulations, Qingyu had already mastered the first 17, understanding and integrating them completely. However, this last one was like a wall of size spanning the river of spatial laws, utterly unmoving, having blocked him for a full year. The difficulty of the last few secret arts in each level of myriad tribulations is a geometric multiple of the previous ones. It was like this for the last 9 secret arts of the first level, and it's the same for these last 18 secret arts of the second level. Qingyu frowned deeply. 20 years, a full 20 years had passed. No, I must be faster, faster. Qingyu clenched his fists on his knees, his knuckles white from the effort, his fingernails almost digging into his palms. Time, there isn't much time left. This won't do. Forcibly suppressing the urge to sink into the cosmic origin land again, Qingyu knew that at this moment, with his mind agitated, a forced attempt would be more harmful than beneficial. He took a deep breath, trying to calm his turbulent emotions. His gaze subconsciously swept across the rooftop walls. In over 20 years, I've never properly looked at these carvings. I'll just consider it a mental break, a casual look. For the first time, Qingyu's gaze truly fell upon the shallow and deep, chaotic etchings covering the rooftop floor, walls, and even corners. The buildings in Primordial Chaos City were constructed from a special material. These etchings would not be eroded by time even after billions of years, so every line was extremely clear. But they formed no system, left by countless geniuses who had once resided here. Some looked like casually drawn lines, others like twisted runes, as messy as a child's scribbles. Qingyu stood up and slowly paced along the edge of the rooftop, his fingers unconsciously brushing over the cold, rough etchings. Initially, these etchings were just chaotic scribbles in his eyes, but as he walked to a relatively flat area in the center of the rooftop, his gaze swept over a few seemingly random intersecting lines, and his footsteps suddenly halted. Qingyu's pupils contracted sharply. The subtle arcs and turns contained within those seemingly disordered intersecting lines actually, vaguely matched a certain basic spatial vibration trajectory from the first level myriad tribulations secret art he had already mastered. A jolt like an electric current instantly coursed through his entire body. So familiar. This is a carving of the first-level secret pattern. Qingyu's heart pounded. He immediately squatted down, examining the marks inch by inch. Here, it's like the execution of the first secret art. It wasn't like this originally. This is Yi Yun's thought process when he first created Myriad Tribulations. Chapter 41, 54 Secret Methods of Understanding. Here, this is the prototype of the third secret technique, so that's it. Understanding Yi Yun's thought process when he created the technique immediately gave me new insights. This is the fourth, the fifth. Qingyu read faster and faster. These seemingly chaotic etchings, after he had completely comprehended the first level of Myriad Tribulations, seemed to be imbued with a brand new meaning. They were no longer random scratches, but the most primitive sparks of thought that the creator of the technique, Yi Yun, had casually recorded when inspiration struck, when his thoughts were blocked, or when he repeatedly deduced. They were the drafts from the birth process of Myriad Tribulations. Where are the etchings for the second level? Qingyu's mental energy was highly concentrated, like an experienced hunter, quickly searching, identifying, and piecing together clues from the messy marks. Found it, Qingyu whispered in his heart, suppressing his excitement. In an inconspicuous corner at the edge of the rooftop, he locked onto his target. The lines were twisted and coiled, interspersed with some pitted marks that seemed to have been repeatedly impacted by great force, exuding a chaotic and powerful aura overall. The etched patterns were also more abstract and profound. The first secret technique of the second level. Qingyu's breathing quickened slightly. He sat down cross-legged without hesitation, immersing his entire mind into these etchings. The law information contained in these etchings themselves was far less clear and systematic than that of the Chaos Tablet. But what he sought was not ready-made answers to laws, but the fleeting inspiration and trajectory of thought Yi Yun had when creating the second level of Myriad Tribulations, especially when facing the final hurdle. This deep and straight long mark, Qingyu's gaze focused on the conspicuous straight line etched on the stone slab, his finger, unconsciously simulating its trajectory on his knee. This immediately reminded him of the fierce and unparalleled opening move of the 15th secret technique of the second level of Myriad Tribulations. Is it an extension of extreme power? But it seems to pursue rigidity too much. His gaze shifted to several shallower, shorter, and distinctly curved lines nearby. These arcs intersected, and there were even multiple overlapping and smudged marks, appearing hesitant. The thought process for the latter 18 secret techniques. Qingyu's spirit was invigorated. He used his finger as a spear, and his arm began to trace in the air, attempting to outline the combination of those arcs. Initially, his movements were slightly stiff, but as he repeatedly pondered the starting points, turning angles, and depth of force of the etchings, the trajectory of his finger gradually became coherent, drawing an arc that contained the meaning of rotation and deflection. So that's it. As his comprehension deepened, Qingyu's mind suddenly cleared, feeling that his previous understanding of the latter 18 secret techniques was too one-sided and crude. The essence of the latter 18 secret techniques lies in guidance and transformation. Qingyu's arm movements began to strictly follow the trajectory of those key etchings on the stone slab. His arm thrust forward fiercely, but at the end of the thrust, his wrist suddenly twisted, as if the spear tip, upon touching the target, did not clash head-on, but cleverly pulled and shifted the force. Immediately after, his arm drew a smooth and fluid, S-shaped trajectory, like a long spear sticking, driving, guiding, and resolving. Finally, his arm suddenly accelerated, unleashing a thunderous finishing blow at an extremely tricky angle. This set of practice, using his hand as a spear, from slow to fast, from unfamiliar to skilled, became more and more fluid and integrated. Qingyu's eyes also grew brighter. The difficult point that had troubled him for a long time, on how to perfectly integrate the three spear intents of burst, guidance, and finish, contained in the second level of Myriad Tribulations, burst open with the enlightenment from touching the original thought process of the technique's creator. I understand. My previous direction was wrong. I was blindly pursuing the ultimate lethality of finish, but ignored that guidance is the key bridge to merge, burst, and finish. The three must blend like water. I am in you, and you are in me. Give me break, Qingyu whispered in his heart. His arm movements suddenly froze in a perfect power-exerting posture, as if holding an invisible peerless divine spear, its tip condensing destructive power and exquisite control, poised to strike. Buzz. It was as if an invisible layer of solid ice shattered with a roar. The stubborn bottleneck that had been stuck on the last secret technique of the second level of myriad tribulations was instantly overcome under the impact of this inspiration from the origin of the technique's creation. Countless previously obscure spear stance changes were now crystal clear and understood. The original thought process left by Yi Yun and his own 20-plus years of diligent spear art foundation merged perfectly at this moment. The second level of myriad tribulations, the last secret technique, achieved. Not only that, but when this last and most crucial puzzle piece fell into place, Qingyu's understanding of the entire second level of myriad tribulations suddenly sublimated. The connections between the 54 secret spear moves became incredibly tight and natural, their transitions and linkages smooth and unhindered, all governed by a single spear intent. His mastery of the entire spear technique reached an unprecedented realm of perfection. True, complete mastery. Qingyu slowly lowered his arm and let out a long, turbid breath, his breathing deep and condensed. The bottleneck was broken. Qingyu's eyes shone brightly. He sat down cross-legged again, his consciousness, following the resonance of the world heart, at the core of his sea of consciousness, sinking into that vast source of the universe. This time, his comprehension was far more efficient than ever before. Guided by the mastery of the second level of myriad tribulations, his understanding of the laws of space and time progressed by leaps and bounds. He had originally estimated that it would take a year to fully comprehend the mysteries of the second ripple diagram, but in just 10 months, his comprehension of the laws was completely solidified, perfectly matching his secret technique realm. That's enough, Qingyu knew in his heart. However, he did not withdraw immediately. Every time he entered the source of the universe, his spirit would bear heavy pressure, so to avoid wasting time, Qingyu would always persist until his limit before withdrawing. I can use this time to deduce the framework of the third level of myriad tribulations in advance. Qingyu devoted the remaining time to deeper contemplation. 198 Secret Techniques. Let's take it slow. 3 years expired. That familiar, heavy sense of exhaustion, as if his consciousness was about to be crushed, arrived as expected. Qingyu decisively withdrew his consciousness, returning to his body. Although his face was still pale from excessive mental exertion, his eyes were as sharp as rising stars, full of confidence. It's time to challenge the heavenly bridge. Although he was still far from comprehending the first 66 secret techniques of the third level of myriad tribulations, Qingyu was confident he could pass the 7th level of the heavenly bridge. Heavenly Bridge Plain. The familiar island was shrouded in mist, and the warden, Ba Fen, stood silently, his figure unchanging through the ages. When he saw a familiar figure condense on the island, a clear trace of surprise flashed in Ba Fen's placid eyes. "Warden," Qingyu greeted calmly, his voice steady. "Qingyu, it's you. 23 years have passed since your last visit." Ba Fen's gaze lingered on Qingyu for a moment. "Regarding your news, other geniuses have speculated a lot, all thinking you were stuck at a bottleneck." Chapter 42, Sky Blade Wheel. Qingyu smiled faintly, not explaining those conjectures, and said directly, "Thank you for your concern, Warden. I want to challenge the Universe Tongtian Bridge." Ba Fen looked deeply at Qingyu. The confidence and sharpness hidden beneath his calm eyes were completely different from 23 years ago. "It seems you've made great progress. However, someone is currently using the Universe Tongtian Bridge, so please wait a moment." "No problem." Qingyu's expression was calm as he walked to the side and closed his eyes to rest. Not long after, the thick fog leading to the Universe Tongtian Bridge churned, and a figure flew out from it. It was a young territory lord, with a hint of unwillingness still on his face. "Phew, still a bit short." The young territory lord exhaled a mouthful of stale air, muttering to himself with some annoyance. He shook his head, as if trying to shake off the frustration of failure. He looked up at Warden Ba Fen, just about to speak. Ba Fen's gaze had already turned to Qingyu, who was standing quietly to the side, and his voice rang out clearly. "Qingyu, the Universe Tongtian Bridge is empty. You can go challenge it now." Qingyu, the young territory lord, who was about to speak, heard the name and his gaze instantly locked onto the young figure who was getting up and walking over. You are Qingyu, the Qingyu who passed the third level of the Universe Tongtian Bridge 23 years ago. It really is you. The surprise in the young territory lord's eyes was quickly replaced by curiosity. This session of Primordial Chaos City is almost over after 30 years, isn't it? This Qingyu is the first of this session, I wonder what his level is like. He speculated in his heart. Coming to the Heavenly Bridge this time is probably to consolidate the third level or try to challenge the fourth level. Before Qingyu could answer, Warden Ba Fen said. He's challenging the Universe Tongtian Bridge, starting from the fourth level. Qingyu, hurry up. After receiving Ba Fen's signal, Qingyu transformed into a streak of light, rushing into the entrance of the Universe Tongtian Bridge, instantly disappearing from the dock that represented the Universe Tongtian Bridge. Ba Fen turned around and looked at the young territory lord. Aren't you leaving? The young man's face showed a hint of an interested smile as he said to Ba Fen. Warden, since I've run into this, I might as well see if the first of this genius battle can pass the fourth level. The fourth level isn't that easy. I remember I only passed it 10 years after leaving Primordial Chaos City. He crossed his arms, a smile of genuine interest playing on the corners of his mouth as he muttered softly. Universe Tongtian Bridge, end of the fourth level. The familiar vast land, at its end a swirling tornado column shrouded in mist. As Qingyu's figure solidified, the deep voice of the guardian also rang out. Choose your opponent. Warrior, controller, or illusionist. Controller. Qingyu's voice was calm and unwavering. Mist condensed, and a figure wearing silver battle armor and carrying a tribulation divine weapon appeared. His gaze was indifferent as he looked at Qingyu. Take out your tribulation divine weapon, use your strongest techniques, otherwise, die. Without any superfluous words, Qingyu's mind stirred. Buzz. A high-pitched, sharp hum of piercing cuts suddenly rang out. A 5-meter diameter, iridescent white giant wheel instantly appeared in front of Qingyu. An intricate array of 1,600 translucent circular blades fit together seamlessly. On the edge of the giant wheel, 108 sharp sawteeth, like cold fangs, moved at high speed in a precise, ruthless, and infinitely cycling biting trajectory. Repeatedly cutting and grinding, emitting a spine-chilling, zzzz, buzz, sound, its very existence seemed to slightly distort the surrounding space. Like a perfect work of art, yet it exuded a terrifying, man-devouring chill. Sky Blade Wheel, the fourth stage of Tribulation Divine Weapon. No wonder you dare to challenge the fourth level. The Guardian's eyes flickered slightly, but then he also unhesitatingly activated his Tribulation Divine Weapon. Similarly, a massive, sky blade wheel, exuding a terrifying cutting aura condensed in front of him, its sawteeth frantically biting, full of imposing power. Kill. Qingyu's eyes narrowed, and he let out a soft shout. His will urged, and the enormous, sky blade wheel, in front of him instantly transformed into a streak of iridescent white light tearing through space, carrying a ruthless power that crushed everything, and violently slammed into the Guardian. The Guardian also drove his sky blade wheel to meet the attack. Boom! Two terrifying giant wheels, imbued with ultimate cutting power, violently collided. The expected earth-shattering explosion did not occur. Instead, there was an even more ear-piercing, teeth-grinding cacophony of metal friction and spatial tearing. Two rows of terrifying fangs frantically cut, ground, and wrestled against each other. It only lasted less than a second. The sky blade wheel unleashed by the Guardian, with its seemingly equally fierce sawtooth array, emitted a crack sound of unbearable strain in front of Qingyu's sky blade wheel. The sharp array forming its edge showed subtle, fatal delays and misalignments. Break. Qingyu's eyes blazed with light, seizing this fleeting flaw and erupting with full power. Rip. The Guardian's iridescent white giant wheel, amidst a series of heart-stopping cracking sounds, disintegrated with a roar from the inside out. 1,600 circular blades flew apart uncontrollably. What? The Guardian's pupils contracted sharply. Qingyu's sky blade wheel continued its momentum undiminished, carrying the aura of crushing all things, and instantly swept past the Guardian's body. Puff. The Guardian, along with his astonished expression, was instantly shredded. Heavenly Bridge Plain, Island. He passed the 4th level. Warden Ba Fen's voice rang out calmly. Oh, so fast. Did he not choose a controller as his opponent? The young territory lord folded his arms, surprise flashing across his face. Universe Tongtian Bridge, end of the 5th level. Choose your opponent. Controller. Qingyu interrupted. Very well, let me see how long you can last on the 5th level. The Guardian growled, instantly activating his Tribulation Divine Weapon. Both the 4th and 5th levels still involved using the Sky Blade Wheel. Zzz, buzz. A massive grinding wheel formed in front of him, its teeth furiously biting and cutting through the void, its might 10 times stronger than the Guardian of the 4th level. Qingyu's eyes showed no fluctuation, and his mind stirred again. Buzz. Kill. Qingyu's Sky Blade Wheel transformed into a deathly white light, fiercely colliding with his opponent. The two iridescent white circular wheels met, erupting in a shrill cutting sound, then instantly bounced off each other. Boom. Swish swish swish. The two wheels collided again. Qingyu unleashed his full power, his Sky Blade Wheel, spinning at high speed, and terrifying air currents like extending sword chi cut through the void. Although the Guardian's Sky Blade Wheel was not weak in power, Qingyu's comprehension of the laws was higher than his. With the same move, not only was his speed faster, but his power was also stronger. Shatter. Rip rip rip. The Guardian's Sky Blade Wheel, as if struck at its vital point, instantly disintegrated. The high-speed rotating Sky Blade Wheel, like a hollowed-out silver moon, carried an unstoppable momentum, shredding the Guardian along with his horrified expression. Heavenly Bridge Plain Island. Didn't he pass? Why isn't he out yet? The young territory lord mumbled softly. Chapter 43, Thousand Entanglement Domain. He passed the 5th level. Ba Fen's voice was still calm, but it revealed a hint of surprise. What? The smile on the domain lord youth's face froze, his crossed arms dropped abruptly, and his eyes widened. The 5th level also passed. And so quickly. He knew very well how difficult the 5th level was. In countless genius battles, 99.99% of geniuses who chose the universe faction could only reach the 3rd level within 30 years in Primordial Chaos City. Very few could reach the 4th level, and those who could reach the 5th level were as rare as phoenix feathers and Qinglin horns, appearing only once every many generations. He himself followed the universe faction, but he only passed the 5th level 180 years after leaving Primordial Chaos City. I previously thought he might not even pass the 4th level, but I didn't expect. He no longer dared to underestimate Qingyu. Curiosity replaced his previous thoughts. Passing the 4th and 5th levels so quickly means he almost crushed the Guardian. Could he be continuing to challenge the 6th level? Inside Mocha's cultivation residence in Primordial Chaos City, Mocha was drenched in sweat, frantically practicing his hammer techniques, his eyes bloodshot and filled with determination. Faster. A little faster. I must pass the 3rd level before the 30 years are up. I, Mocha, must not stop here. Suddenly, his auxiliary optical computer on his wrist vibrated slightly, and an email from Guardian Ba Fen automatically popped up in a preview window. Open black lens bracket. Qingyu is challenging the Universe Tongtian Bridge. He has passed the 5th level and is now challenging the 6th level, close black lens bracket. What? Mocha's movements instantly froze, as if struck by a bolt of lightning. He stared intently at the line of text, his pupils contracting sharply. The 5th level. He passed the 5th level. And is challenging the 6th level. Immense shock and a sense of defeat instantly overwhelmed him. From the first time he fought Qingyu in the World Zone, he had always regarded Qingyu as his goal, even harboring a competitive mindset, believing that as long as he worked hard enough, he might not be unable to catch up. Even after entering Primordial Chaos City, when Qingyu passed the first 3 levels of the Heavenly Bridge in 5 years, leaving all of them behind, he didn't get discouraged. Instead, he resolved to catch up fiercely. But this explosion after 23 years of silence was like a heavy blow, shattering all his efforts. 23 years, from the 3rd level to the 5th level, and still challenging the 6th level. He muttered to himself, disheartened, and the great hammer in his hand clanged as it fell to the ground. No, Does hard work really mean you can't catch up to talent? On the rooftop of another residence in Primordial Chaos City, Yu Meng stood quietly by the railing, a hint of anticipation in her clear eyes. Qingyu, it's been 28 years, 2 more years, come on. Just then, her auxiliary optical computer also vibrated gently. The moment she saw the sender's name, her heart skipped a beat. She opened the email. Open black lens bracket. Qingyu is challenging the universe Tongtian Bridge. He has passed the 5th level and is now challenging the 6th level, close black lens bracket. Yu Meng's eyes suddenly lit up, like the brightest stars in the night sky. The corners of her mouth curved upwards uncontrollably, and the genuine joy radiating from within made her whole being seem to glow. He actually passed the 5th level directly. Qingyu, at the end of the 6th level of the universe Tongtian Bridge. Black mist surged, and a mechanical voice rang out. Choose your opponent. Warrior, controller, illusionist. Controller. Qingyu's answer was still concise. Universe rank. The 6th level is not the same as the 5th. I will unleash 1000 entanglement domain. I hope you can make this enjoyable for me. The black mist flowed, condensing into the guardian. Come on, I can also use 1000 entanglement domain. Qingyu roared, his aura surging. Buzz, hiss. A large number of translucent small circular blades flew out from the tribulation divine weapon behind him, far more than any previous time, a total of 2,916, as if imbued with life, dancing dazzlingly under the control of his telekinesis. A giant vortex, 10 meters in diameter, instantly formed in front of Qingyu. Like a miniature galaxy, following profound trajectories, it revolved and rotated. The pearly white torrent within the vortex, as if light itself was swept in, was made up of tiny stars formed by circular blades spinning rapidly. They intertwined, interlocked, and swept past each other seamlessly, forming an absolutely lethal cutting domain. Tribulation Divine Weapon 5th Stage, 1000 Entanglement Domain. Good. Battle intent surged in the Guardian's eyes, and he also activated his mental power. Another, 1000 Entanglement Domain, Vortex, 10 meters in diameter and emitting the same terrifying cutting aura, forcefully formed in front of the Guardian. 2,916 circular blades spun at high speed, forming a perfect law array. Kill. Both roared almost simultaneously. Boom. 2 10-meter diameter death vortices, like 2 spinning galaxies, collided with a thunderous crash. Sizzle sizzle sizzle, buzz, hiss. The destructive cutting domains fiercely eroded and annihilated each other. Both galaxies tried to devour the other. The surface of the planet simulated by the heavenly bridge was instantly pressed into a huge crater by an invisible force. Rocks and soil were swept into the edges of the vortex, instantly cut into the finest particles. Space completely collapsed at the intersection of the 2 vortices, forming a chaotic black region. The Guardian's 1000 Entanglement Domain was violent and ferocious, like an out-of-control meat grinder, attempting to tear the opponent apart with the most brute force. Qingyu's 1000 Entanglement Domain, however, was like a precise net of laws. It didn't just meet force with force but skillfully guided and deflected the opponent's violent impact, flowing smoothly, combining both rigidity and flexibility. He had fully comprehended the 54 secret techniques of the 2nd level of myriad tribulations, achieving a new height in his control of space-time laws. All of this was now integrated into this 5th stage of 1000 Entanglement Domain. His vortex galaxy seemed to operate even more smoothly, and the internal forces of cutting, strangulation, and binding were more harmoniously integrated, carrying an artistic conception of endless vitality and cyclical recurrence. At the same time, he searched for momentary delays and weak points in the Guardian's vortex trajectory. Open, for me. After a few seconds of stalemate, a sharp light flashed in Qingyu's eyes. He captured that fleeting opportunity. Whoosh. Poof. Qingyu's 1000 Entanglement Domain suddenly erupted with a powerful suction, engulfing the 1000 Entanglement Domain unleashed by the Guardian. Like a galaxy falling into a black hole, the core structure of the Guardian's violent 1000 Entanglement Domain was forcibly torn apart and penetrated. The entire vortex's operation instantly became chaotic, and countless circular blades collided and flew apart uncontrollably. Impossible. Qingyu controlled his galaxy to crush forward. Before the Guardian could finish speaking, he was swept into the giant vortex without even a chance to struggle, instantly devoured. Heavenly Bridge Plain Island. The 6th level, also passed. This time, even Guardian Ba Fen's eternally unchanging voice carried a clear ripple. Chapter 44, Choosing an Illusionist. Deep in his eyes, a hint of surprise flashed. 23 years of silence, then an explosive breakthrough, clearing 3 levels in one go. This speed was too terrifying. The 6th level was also cleared. The Domain Lord youth had completely lost his composure. His mouth was slightly agape, and his eyes were wide. This wasn't just any heavenly bridge, it was the Universe Tongtian Bridge. The Cosmic Chaos Monument was inherently the most difficult, and its corresponding heavenly bridge was the hardest to clear. To clear the 6th level during his time in Primordial Chaos City, Qingyu could already be called a genius that appeared once every 10,000 eras. Qingyu cleared the 6th level of the Heavenly Bridge. I need to quickly spread the news. Sky Eclipse Palace Master, Ninesword Exalt, the Grand Masters of the Cosmic Faction, Marquis Tianyi, and other geniuses, Ba Fen murmured. I wonder if this will motivate or discourage the other geniuses of this generation. At this moment, Qingyu felt no excitement, but rather a hint of tension. Still, he quickly moved to the next level. At the end of the 7th level of the Universe Tongtian Bridge. The scene was no longer ground, but a deep and vast starry sky, with cold stars dotted against an infinite dark background, so silent it made one's heart race. Choose your opponent: warrior, controller, illusionist. This time, I choose illusionist. Qingyu took a deep breath, raised his head, his gaze like a torch. The Guardian that appeared this time no longer carried a tribulation divine weapon. He floated in the starry sky, his gaze like cold stars, scrutinizing Qingyu with a penetrating power that seemed to see through his soul. Little universe rank fellow, to reach this point during your 30 years in Primordial Chaos City, you've done very well. The cold starlight in the Guardian's eyes flickered slightly. A tiny, almost imperceptible curve appeared at the corner of his mouth. You chose illusionist. It seems you're very confident in your will and soul defense. Or, are you gambling? But if you think an illusionist is easy to deal with, then you are greatly mistaken. Let's begin. I am confident, Qingyu urged. Commendable courage. Then, sink into eternal silence. No sooner had he spoken. Illusion, eternal silence and descent. An invisible, formless, yet suffocatingly vast mental power, carrying the profound laws of coldness, loneliness, and eternal slumber, instantly transcended the limits of physical space, like the will of the universe itself pressing down, invading Qingyu's sea of consciousness. There was no light, no sound, only a pure and terrifying assault on the soul level. Qingyu felt his consciousness being forcibly stripped from his body, plunged into an abyss of absolute nothingness, absolute cold, and absolute darkness. Boundless loneliness, like billions of ice needles, pierced his soul. Countless tempting whispers arose from the depths of his consciousness, luring him to abandon resistance and embrace this eternal peace. The Guardian's true body floated silently in the starry sky, watching Qingyu with a cold gaze. In his perception, Qingyu's body stiffened the moment the illusion descended, his eyes instantly losing all their luster, becoming hollow and blank, as if his soul had left his body. Another one who harbored a lucky ones, though not directly annihilated by my soul attack, it's still a failure. The Guardian judged indifferently, then manipulated his psychic weapon to attack the immobile Qingyu. Just as the Guardian thought the dust had settled. Deep within Qingyu's hollow, blank eyes, a point of light, as if capable of piercing eternal darkness, suddenly erupted. At the core of his sea of consciousness, the ancient, dark bronze bell, the power of the 3rd level of the myriad souls bell, was pushed to its limit. The bell body vibrated violently, emitting a silent yet soul-shaking roar. Rings of solidified soul defense ripples firmly resisted the Guardian's soul attack. A vast, unyielding, tenacious willpower, originating from the very essence of his soul, transformed into an invisible pillar reaching to the heavens, charging fiercely towards the boundless, eternal silence, darkness with the determination to crush all obstacles. Break, for me. A roar from the deepest part of his soul exploded in the void of his sea of consciousness. Crack. That viscous, cold, dark abyss, containing the true meaning of annihilation and eternal descent, under the dual impact of the myriad souls Bel's tenacious defense and Qingyu's heaven-defying, formidable will. Like solid ice thrown into a raging fire, it emitted a sound of unbearable shattering. Countless cracks instantly spread. Outside, only a moment had passed. Qingyu's hollow eyes instantly regained clarity, sharp as before. What? An undisguised look of shock appeared on the Guardian's face. Die! Qingyu roared. Thousand Entanglement Domain. A 10-meter diameter death vortex, carrying his peak momentum after breaking through the illusion, instantly expanded and accelerated its rotation. Like a black hole devouring starlight, it swiftly and decisively enveloped the Guardian, who had no time to dodge. Ah! The Guardian only managed to let out a short cry of alarm. The 7th level has also been cleared. This Qingyu truly is silent for years, then astonishes with a single feat. Quickly, spread the news. Ba Fen muttered to himself. At the end of the 7th level, Qingyu slowly retracted his tribulation divine weapon. He took a deep breath, his gaze fixed on the entrance to the next level. Let's go to the 8th level and see. Although he knew he couldn't clear it, he would at least experience it. In Primordial Chaos City, in Snow Prison King's palace, Snow Prison King was surrounded by an aloof aura that seemed to freeze space. Suddenly, his intelligent life assistant notified him of an email. From Ba Fen. Snow Prison King frowned slightly and sent a wisp of consciousness to check it. Message content. Open black lens bracket Qingyu, in his 28th year in Primordial Chaos City, successfully cleared the 7th level of the Universe Tongtian Bridge, close black lens bracket. Snow Prison King suddenly opened his eyes, his pupils contracting sharply. He actually cleared the 7th level. Wasn't he stuck on the 4th level for over 20 years before? Snow Prison King had genuinely believed Qingyu's talent was lacking, not because he had a personal bias against Qingyu. Precisely because of this news had an even greater impact on him. Coincidentally, Purple Abyss King, who must have also heard the news about Qingyu, suddenly walked in, with unconcealed teasing for his friend. "Haha, Snow Prison, what did I tell you? Haha, I said this little fellow had comprehension, and told you not to jump to conclusions too early. How about it now? You said before that it would be good if he cleared the 4th level, but he directly cleared the 7th. That's quite a slap in the face, tisk tisk, I even feel the pain for you." Purple Abyss King's personality was already unconventional. In his early years of adventuring, he had made quite a few enemies with his mouth. Now, when teasing his friend, he was equally impolite. Snow Prison King's face turned pale, then green, at his words. Unable to lash out, he could only let out a cold snort. HMPH. Are you here specifically to mock me? The 7th level was indeed unexpected. This child is a bit stronger than I anticipated. His voice was still cold, but upon closer listening, it lacked some of its former certainty. For someone with his stubborn personality, admitting this much was already quite something. Chapter 45, Ziwan King's Teasing. Ha ha ha. Snow Prison. Purple Abyss King laughed heartily, his voice full of teasing. What a rare occurrence. Hard to come by in 1,000 years. Truly rare, truly rare. To make you, Snow Prison King, personally admit to underestimating a universe rank junior. Haha, this Qingyu has truly created quite a miracle. Snow Prison King's expression was icy, and his heart was extremely irritable. Qingyu's performance had indeed exceeded his initial expectations, and he admitted that he regretted his earlier assertiveness a little. What made him even more irritable was Purple Abyss King. He knew Purple Abyss King's temperament well. The more he acknowledged him, the more the other would seize on his words, enthusiastically teasing him endlessly, as if seeing Snow Prison King, known for his cold arrogance, in a difficult position was a great joy. It was foreseeable that for the next tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of years, Ziyuan would definitely seize today's, handle, and use this matter to tease him anytime, anywhere. HMPH. Annoying. Snow Prison King snorted coldly in his heart, simply closed his eyes and pretended to cultivate, no longer looking at Purple Abyss King's face, which was full of mockery. Purple Abyss King was laughing heartily when he saw Snow Prison King's appearance, eyes closed in meditation, in a do not disturb state. Tisk. Purple Abyss King pouted and muttered unenthusiastically. Boring. Still the same bad temper. There will be plenty of time to chat later. I'm leaving first, you can continue your quiet cultivation. Ha ha. Just then, on the Universe Tongtian Bridge, Qingyu's figure appeared at the end of the 8th floor's bridge surface. Qingyu still chose an illusionist as his opponent. However, reality was cruel. Illusion attacks were not something that could be resisted solely by a strong will, because illusions also contained laws. If the gap in law comprehension was too great, even will would be difficult to compensate for. The 8th floor guardian launched a fierce attack. Buzz. An indescribable, irresistible soul impact descended. The third layer of the 7-soul bell's defense was like paper, unable to hold for even a second. The bell body instantly became covered in cracks, and then silently disintegrated. Universe Tongtian Bridge, 8th floor, failed. Misty light surged, and Qingyu's figure recoalesced on the island. The warden, Ba Fen, looked at the reappearing Qingyu and slowly said, Qingyu, congratulations, you have passed the 7th floor of the Universe Tongtian Bridge. Thank you, warden. I'll head back now. 7th floor, the territory lord rank youth next to him looked at Qingyu's retreating figure, displaying an expression as if he was looking at a monster. After the shock, a strange emotion surged in his heart, and the territory lord rank youth suddenly grinned, with a hint of schadenfreude. Hey, he muttered to himself, his eyes glinting. A monster, truly a complete monster. But, why am I getting excited? This monster isn't competing with a regular territory lord rank like me from the highest beginning mythical region. The smile on his face became even more pronounced, carrying a sense of ease, as if saying, it's none of my business, I'm just watching the show. The ones who should be having a headache are those big shots from the primitive mystical region. When this monster, Qingyu, breaks through to the territory lord rank, tisk, there are only so many spots in the primitive mystical region, I'm afraid someone is going to be forcefully squeezed out. Thinking of the demotion crisis that those high and mighty primitive mystical region geniuses might face, the slight sense of frustration in the territory lord rank youth's heart, caused by being overshadowed by Qingyu's talent, was instantly replaced by the pleasure of watching a good show. In manner 114 of the original zone, Marquis Tianyi was pacing back and forth. He cared more about the results of this heavenly bridge challenge than Qingyu himself, his eyes constantly drifting towards the entrance of the manor. Qingyu slowly walked into the manor, his voice calmly sounding. Teacher. Marquis Tianyi suddenly stopped, rushing to Qingyu's front in a single stride, his voice a little distorted by nervousness and anticipation. How was it? Speak quickly. Which floor did you pass? Qingyu looked at the almost overflowing anticipation in his teacher's eyes, a warm and confident smile appearing on his composed face, and he clearly stated. Your disciple did not fail your expectations, I passed the 7th floor. 7th floor, 7th floor. Ha 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 ha, good. He laughed uproariously, his laughter unrestrained. I knew it. I knew you could do it. My good disciple. Good. Well done. Marquis Tianyi patted Qingyu's shoulder vigorously. He seemed to see Qingyu's future path to greatness already laid out. A warm current surged in Qingyu's heart. He bowed deeply and solemnly said, without teacher's full assistance in exchanging the world heart for this disciple, I would not have been able to pass this 7th floor. Teacher's kindness, this disciple will always remember. Marquis Tianyi waved his hand, his face still brimming with uncontrollable joy. All right, no need for such talk between teacher and disciple. Now is not the time for sentimentality. Qingyu, quickly, immediately check your virtual universe mailbox. Since you have passed the 7th floor, the summons from Palace Master Sky Eclipse must have arrived. As soon as his words fell, Qingyu received an email. Qingyu, good performance. Come see me at the Sky Eclipse Palace on Thunder Island in 3 days. Palace Master Sky Eclipse. Qingyu's heart involuntarily sped up. Becoming a disciple of a top universe overlord like Palace Master Sky Eclipse was the aspiration of many geniuses, and Qingyu was no exception, as the benefits of discipleship were too numerous. Teacher, Palace Master Sky Eclipse wants me to go to the Sky Eclipse Palace on Thunder Island in 3 days. Qingyu told Marquis Tianyi the good news. Good. Qingyu, this is an unparalleled opportunity for you. Be sure to be cautious in your words and actions, and show your best side. Go, prepare well. The guidance and help Palace Master Sky Eclipse can give you are things that I, your teacher, could never achieve in a lifetime. 3 days later, Qingyu's consciousness was drawn to a massive island suspended in clouds and mist, surrounded by electrical snakes. This was Thunder Island, where only Undying and above could have palaces. Qingyu was directly drawn to the front of the Sky Eclipse Palace. Come in. The voice seemed to sound in Qingyu's ear. Qingyu stepped into the palace and saw an ancient stone platform suspended in the center, with a silver-robed figure sitting on it. Palace Master Sky Eclipse. He wore a seemingly ordinary silver-white robe, and his figure was not particularly tall, but when he sat there, he seemed to be the center of the universe. His face was indistinct, as if covered by a layer of flowing chaotic mist, with only a pair of eyes clearly visible. What kind of eyes were those? Calm, profound, embracing all things, yet seemingly able to see through to the future. That gaze was not sharp, but carried a vast and boundless will like the cosmic starry sky, pressing down like a great mountain. Qingyu felt his will as if thrown into a boiling star sea, knowing that Palace Master Sky Eclipse was testing his will. He kept his mind steady, and the bronze bell on his sea of consciousness let out a long chime. His will is firm as a rock. I cannot fall. Qingyu did not retreat, did not evade, but firmly withstood the terrifying will impact, standing unmoving. Chapter 46, Apprenticeship and Rewards. Just as Qingyu felt he was about to reach his limit, the vast and terrifying pressure suddenly receded like a tide. Who? Qingyu's body swayed, but he forced himself to stand firm and bowed respectfully. Qingyu greets Sky Eclipse Palace Master. Not bad. Your will is comparable to a World Lord rank. For a universe rank stage 1 to possess such will is quite rare. A hint of satisfaction flashed in the Sky Eclipse Palace Master's eyes, which seemed to encompass the universe. Qingyu, are you willing to become my disciple? Immediately after, the Sky Eclipse Palace Master's voice rang out again. This disciple is willing. Qingyu looked directly into those supreme eyes and responded decisively, then kowtowed to the Sky Eclipse Palace Master on the stone platform. Disciple Qingyu, greets teacher. The Sky Eclipse Palace Master looked at Qingyu with satisfaction. The Sky Eclipse Palace Master's voice remained calm, yet it carried a sense of timelessness and transcendence that seemed to pierce through space and time. Over countless years, I have witnessed the rise and fall of innumerable geniuses. When it comes to taking disciples, talent is no longer important to me, character and will are paramount. He paused slightly, his eyes, which encompassed the universe, fell upon Qingyu, carrying a hint of expectation. Throughout the long years until now, including you, I have only truly taken 4 disciples under my direct tutelage. Because I will wholeheartedly guide every disciple. As long as they can meet my requirements, I will provide the best resources and the best opportunities. The Sky Eclipse Palace Master's gaze refocused on Qingyu. Qingyu, you are my 4th disciple. I will naturally treat you equally. This time, you passing the Heavenly Bridge's 7th level before leaving Primordial Chaos City is your first qualified answer sheet, and I have prepared a reward for you. The specific items, I have already sent to your smart assistant. You can check them yourself later. The Sky Eclipse Palace Master's reward must be extraordinary. Qingyu suppressed his excitement and respectfully said, "Thank you, teacher, for your generous gift. This disciple will surely cherish it." The Sky Eclipse Palace Master nodded slightly and continued. Furthermore, if you encounter any problems in your future cultivation, think about them yourself first. If you truly cannot understand them, you may come to the Sky Eclipse Palace on this day every year to seek my personal guidance on difficulties. Qingyu's heart rate accelerated again, and he responded with utmost solemnity, "Yes. This disciple will certainly ponder deeply and cherish every opportunity." The Sky Eclipse Palace Master's gaze fell upon Qingyu. "I am already aware of Marquis Tianyi exchanging the World Heart for you." Qingyu's heart stirred slightly, and he waited for what was to come. Although this item can allow you to communicate with the origin land in advance and has special effects, its danger is not something a mere marquis can fully comprehend. The Sky Eclipse Palace Master's voice was calm, yet carried a hint of warning. Before reaching World Lord rank, rashly entering the origin land of the universe will cause your consciousness to be suppressed by the world power. Unless your will reaches World Lord rank, it will even damage your soul. Marquis Tianyi's action, though well-intentioned, was limited by his knowledge and was truly reckless, almost harming you. So that's how it is. Qingyu suddenly realized, then a wry smile appeared on his face. No wonder every time my consciousness withdrew from the origin land of the universe, my head would ache terribly. I didn't realize it was because my consciousness was being suppressed by the world power. Qingyu instantly made a decision. I won't let Teacher Tianyi know about this. Teacher exchanged the world heart for me, already having given his all and holding infinite hope. If he knew how dangerous the world heart actually was, almost harming me, with Teacher's personality, he would probably fall into endless self-reproach and regret. Qingyu's eyes became clear and firm again, and he looked at the Sky Eclipse Palace Master with undeniable sincerity. Teacher is wise. Teacher Tianyi devoted himself entirely to this disciple, giving his all. This disciple is deeply grateful for his kindness. Even if there had been an unforeseen event at that time, this disciple would never have harbored any resentment. The Sky Eclipse Palace Master seemed quite approving of Qingyu's character in upholding his teacher's kindness and discerning right from wrong. It is very good that you can think this way. It is also precisely because your will is astonishing, resisting the impact of that world power, not only without harm but even gaining something, that this is where I truly value you. The Sky Eclipse Palace Master's voice suddenly became stern, and an invisible pressure enveloped the entire Sky Eclipse Palace. The reward has been given to you, and as your teacher, I also have requirements for your future cultivation. Qingyu's expression became serious, his back straightened, and he was fully attentive. Please instruct me, teacher. Within the next 3,000 years, I want you to achieve 2 goals. He extended 2 fingers, his voice as cold and majestic as the laws of the universe. First, pass the universe Tongtian Bridge's 12th level. Second, pass the universe rank primitive heavenly mountain. The heavenly bridge's 12th level. That's equivalent to an undying lord's comprehension of laws. The universe rank primitive heavenly mountain, the virtual universe never intended for anyone to pass it, unless you're a genius that appears once every 10 million eras. Such stringent requirements were enough to suffocate any genius. But Qingyu's eyes, far from showing fear or retreat, instead ignited with an even more fervent and resolute flame. Pressure is also motivation. To be given such a request by the Sky Eclipse Palace Master was itself a form of recognition and expectation. This disciple will certainly give his all. Qingyu's voice was decisive. Looking at the indomitable fighting spirit in Qingyu's eyes, the Sky Eclipse Palace Master's face, shrouded in mist, seemed to show a fleeting hint of satisfaction. If you can achieve these 2 within 3 millennia. The Sky Eclipse Palace Master's voice paused slightly. Your teacher will personally act and prepare a great opportunity for you. The Sky Eclipse Palace Master's voice carried an undeniable weight. The faster you achieve your goals, the more satisfied your teacher will be, and the more precious this opportunity will be. Immense pressure and unparalleled temptation descended simultaneously. This disciple will certainly not fail teacher's expectations. I will definitely achieve the goals as soon as possible. Qingyu said decisively. Good. The Sky Eclipse Palace Master calmly uttered a single word, as if drawing a conclusion to this master-disciple dialogue. Go now, make good use of these last 2 years. Once you leave the primal universe, you won't have the opportunity to comprehend the Chaos Tablet. Yes. This disciple takes his leave. Thank you, teacher, for your guidance. Qingyu kowtowed deeply again. Qingyu returned to Manor 114, and Marquis Tianyi immediately walked over, his face filled with unconcealed excitement and concern. Qingyu, how was it? Did the Sky Eclipse Palace Master, did he take you as a disciple? Quickly tell your teacher. This disciple has already become a disciple of the Sky Eclipse Palace Master. Teacher Tianxi also bestowed rewards upon this disciple. Teacher, please see. Qingyu opened the email sent by the Sky Eclipse Palace Master. Marquis Tianyi's gaze quickly scanned the first item on the reward list. The first 6 volumes of Chaotic True Understanding. That's worth 1 billion points. Good. Excellent. He praised excitedly, repeatedly. The Sky Eclipse Palace Master has already considered your cultivation after you leave the primal universe. This, Chaotic True Understanding, corresponds precisely to the Universe Chaos Tablet. Each volume corresponds to 1 illustration, and the first 6 volumes correspond to the first 6 illustrations. Once you go to the primitive mystical region, although you won't be able to comprehend the Chaos Tablet, comprehending this, Chaotic True Understanding, will still have 1/10 of the effect. Chapter 47 30 Years. Marquis Tianyi's gaze continued to drop. Star Marrow Jade, 100,000 kilograms. His voice held a hint of astonishment. This is a treasure that can slowly increase one's affinity for laws. While exchanging for a small amount isn't too difficult, such a massive quantity, tisk tisk, even a champion of the invincible tier might not have the channels to easily acquire so much. Sky Eclipse Palace Lord is truly generous. And, World Heart, 10 pieces. Marquis Tianyi gasped. Marquis Tianyi's expression instantly became extremely complex, with shock, emotion, and an indescribable hint of envy. I put aside my old face and nearly exhausted all my savings to get you 1 World Heart, but Sky Eclipse Palace Lord simply bestowed 10 pieces, this generosity. He shook his head, took a deep breath, and looked at Qingyu with a solemn gaze. Disciple, the Palace Lord's expectations for you are heavier than the stars. He has bestowed upon you indispensable treasures for your future cultivation. Do not let him down. This disciple understands. I will do my utmost. The physical items will be sent directly to your manor in the primitive mystical region. Your master is almost at your manor already. I will help you receive them first, and you can use them when you arrive 2 years from now. The news of Sky Eclipse Palace Lord taking on a disciple was like a super bomb, instantly igniting the nerves of all geniuses. Mocha, Huang Li, Xing Hen, and others were all aghast upon hearing it, their hearts filled with an indescribable shock and awe. Snow Prison King and Purple Abyss King also fell silent for a long time after learning the news. Snow Prison King's expression was complex and unreadable, while Purple Abyss King's light chuckle carried a hint of understanding and amusement. Sky Eclipse has finally taken another disciple. Qingyu. His will is not bad. Even Primordial Chaos City Lord, who was stationed in Primordial Chaos City, paid attention to this matter. This was mainly because Sky Eclipse Palace Lord, as a top universe overlord, held significant weight within the Virtual Universe Corporation, and he rarely took disciples. This sudden acceptance of Qingyu as a disciple naturally attracted a great deal of attention. The commotion did not disturb Qingyu much. His mind was clear, and he dedicated all his focus to comprehending the 3rd-level secret technique of myriad tribulations. He entered the universe origin land again, wandering in the vast ocean of laws. Time quietly slipped away in his selfless cultivation, and 2 years passed in a flash. During this period, he also went to comprehend the universe chaos tablet once. The 3rd image, the splash diagram, depicted a calm water surface being completely broken, with countless splashes, expounding on the deeper mysteries of the space-time law. In terms of complexity, it was more than 10 times that of the ripple diagram. Naturally, it didn't trouble the current Qingyu, and time slowly passed in his cultivation. The 30th year in Primordial Chaos City, the last 10 days. Come see me immediately. Ninesword Exalt's cold and majestic voice suddenly echoed in the minds of all the geniuses in Primordial Chaos City, like a clap of thunder. Qingyu, Yumeng, Mocha, and others flew out from their respective residences, gathering above Primordial Chaos City. A massive sword-shaped spaceship hovered there, with the stern-faced Ninesword Exalt standing at its bow. An invisible pressure seemed to solidify the air. Greetings, Exalt. Nearly 742 geniuses saluted in unison, their voices filled with reverence. HMPH. Ninesword Exalt's gaze swept over the crowd below like a blade, and he snorted coldly, his tone carrying undisguised disappointment. 30 years. A mere 30 years. 258 of you have died. Useless. The cold reprimand made many geniuses bow their heads in shame. Now look at your achievements. Ninesword Exalt's voice grew colder. Besides Qingyu, only 4 people have managed to pass the 3rd level of the Heavenly Bridge. His gaze lingered on Qingyu for a moment, complex and unreadable, then moved away, his tone becoming even more severe. If not for Qingyu, this generation of yours would be the worst I have ever led. The crowd was completely silent, even their breathing cautious. There are still 10 days until we leave Primordial Chaos City. Ninesword Exalt's voice deepened, but it carried an even deeper chill. Cherish this last bit of peace. Once you leave here and return to the original universe, there won't be a safe place like Primordial Chaos City for you to cultivate. By then, even more of you will die. His words were like a cold prophecy, making many geniuses' faces turn pale. Now, take advantage of these last 10 days. Those who need to challenge the Heavenly Bridge, those who need to comprehend the Chaos Tablet, seize the time. Ninesword Exalt waved his hand. You may disperse. The crowd dispersed, and many geniuses immediately flew towards the entrance to the Heavenly Bridge Plain or the City Lord's mansion, eager to seize the last opportunity. Qingyu didn't go. The 8th level of the Universe Tongtian Bridge. He hadn't even fully comprehended half of the first 66 secret techniques of the 3rd level of Myriad Tribulations. Even if he were to challenge the 7th level again with the Tribulation Divine Weapon, he might not be fully confident, let alone the 8th level. Qingyu. A soft voice came, and Yumeng walked over, her eyes bright like stars, with a hint of nervousness and anticipation. I want to try the 4th level of the Heavenly Bridge again. She had passed the 3rd level long ago but had been stuck at the 4th, failing several times. Are you confident? Qingyu looked at her. Yumeng took a deep breath, her eyes firm. Yes. I want to try again. In these 30 years, I have never been idle for a moment. Only she knew. The effort she had put in during these 30 years, working harder and more focused than ever before. When there is a figure one wants to catch up to, a desire to stand side by side, that motivation is enough to burn everything. Seeing the persistent light in her eyes, Qingyu nodded. Go, I believe in you. Yumeng smiled brightly and turned to fly towards the Heavenly Bridge Plain entrance. Soon, Yumeng emerged from the Heavenly Bridge Plain, her face filled with uncontrollable excitement and a brilliant smile of relief. Her gaze instantly locked onto Qingyu, and almost without thinking, she flashed forward, pouncing towards him. She stopped in front of Qingyu, her joy temporarily making her forget her modesty. I succeeded. Qingyu, I passed the 4th level. Her voice trembled slightly, and her eyes seemed to shimmer with moisture. Qingyu looked at her genuine smile and also showed a slight smile. Congratulations. In the distance, at the bow of the sword-shaped spaceship, Ninesword Exalt took in this scene, his gaze lingering on Qingyu for a long time. An indescribable complex emotion arose in Ninesword Exalt's heart. He was somewhat regretful for having misjudged him earlier. This child is indeed a fine piece of unpolished jade. It wasn't because Qingyu passing the 7th level of the Heavenly Bridge was so astonishing, but because Qingyu's progress from his emergence in the genius battle to these 30 years in Primordial Chaos City was simply too stable and astounding. From passing the 1st level upon entering Primordial Chaos City to breaking through 3 levels to reach the 7th 23 years later, this leapfrog growth rate was the truly terrifying potential. Although it couldn't be separated from the assistance of the World Heart, if Ninesword Exalt had taken him as a disciple, would he not have been able to provide resources? Thinking of this, Ninesword Exalt felt a little depressed. Chapter 48, Heading to the Primordial Secret Realm. But Qingyu had already been taken as a disciple by Sky Eclipse Palace Master, so Ninesword Exalt couldn't possibly snatch him away. Even if he tried, he wouldn't succeed. He immediately suppressed his emotions, his gaze once again becoming as still as an ancient well. Since things had come to this, further thought was useless. Qingyu took advantage of the last bit of time to comprehend the Universe Chaos Tablet one more time, as he didn't know when he would next come to Primordial Chaos City. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. Prepare to depart. Ninesword Exalt's voice echoed in the ears of over 700 geniuses. Above Primordial Chaos City, the hatch of the sword-shaped spaceship was already open, and Ninesword Exalt's majestic voice resounded. Board the ship. Leave the primal universe. The internal space of the sword-shaped spaceship was vast. Over 700 geniuses found their own seats, and the atmosphere was somewhat somber, with many feeling anxious about the future. Hey, Qingyu. Mocha's voice broke the silence. He pulled Huangli along and squeezed over, a familiar, slightly roguish smile on his face, though a hint of complexity was hard to hide in the depths of his eyes. You're truly ruthless, aren't you? You directly reached the 7th level. You've left us so far behind we can't even see your shadow. He patted Qingyu's shoulder vigorously. Huangli also nodded beside him, her eyes filled with genuine admiration and a sense of powerlessness. Universe Tongtian Bridge, 7th level. Qingyu, you're truly a monster. While we're still struggling with the 3rd and 4th levels, you're already challenging the 8th. Qingyu looked at these two outstanding peers from the same batch and smiled calmly. It was just a stroke of luck. You've all passed the 3rd level too, and there's still a long way to go in the future. Let's work hard together. His tone was sincere, without the slightest hint of showing off. Oh, come on, your stroke of luck is too terrifying. Mocha pouted, then grinned again. But it's good, having a goal like you ahead makes it more interesting, right, Huangli? He nudged Huangli's shoulder. Huangli smiled helplessly, the pressure is immense. During this brief exchange, the spaceship vibrated slightly, then began to accelerate. After a while, the spaceship entered a cosmic passage. Time and space seemed to lose their boundaries here, forming a chaotic time-disordered zone. Many geniuses clutched their heads. It was much better than the collective fainting 30 years ago. 30 years in the primal universe, officially over. Ninesword Exalt's cold voice echoed in the cabin, carrying a sense of declaration. The spaceship jolted violently, passing through the final light and shadow barrier. The familiar sea of stars reappeared, and in the distance was the vast and magnificent outline of the Virtual Universe Corporation headquarters continent. The spaceship docked steadily at a massive harbor on the edge of the headquarters continent. The hatch opened, and Ninesword Exalt's figure in a green robe and purple scales stood at the entrance, overlooking a group of young people whose temperament had changed after 30 years of tempering. The comfortable cultivation in primordial chaos city ends here. His voice was decisive, like a ringing alarm bell. Next, you will be divided into 4 teams and sent to the primitive mystical region, highest beginning mythical region, heaven and earth secret realm, and doomsday secret realm, respectively. His cold gaze swept over everyone. The world outside is 100 times more brutal than primordial chaos city. Competition, slaughter, missions, danger is everywhere. I hope that the next time I see you. He paused, his words carrying a bone-chilling coldness. Half of you are still alive. Boom tilde tilde. The spaceship came to a complete stop. Everyone, with various emotions, filed out. Envoys in Virtual Universe Corporation uniforms were already waiting, quickly and efficiently guiding and distributing the geniuses. Highest beginning mythical region members, this way. Heaven and Earth Secret Realm members, follow me. Doomsday Secret Realm. The crowd began to disperse. Mocha and Huangli nodded to Qingyu and walked towards the highest beginning mythical region team's spaceship. Yu Meng paused slightly before walking towards the highest beginning realm team. She turned around and quickly ran to Qingyu. Without many words, she opened her arms and gave Qingyu a brief but firm hug. Take care. She looked up, her eyes clear and bright. Primitive mystical region. I will work hard to catch up. Her voice was very soft, but carried an undeniable determination. Having said that, she let go, turned, and merged into the highest beginning realm team without looking back. Qingyu stood still, watching her back disappear into the crowd, his gaze still calm, only nodding slightly. Let's go too. Ninesword Exalt's calm voice came. Qingyu turned, bowed respectfully, and then flew back onto the spaceship. The spaceship started again, this time heading for the primitive mystical region, Wuchen space-time, closest to the headquarters continent. During the flight, Ninesword Exalt stood by the porthole, hands behind his back, and calmly introduced Qingyu. The 4 great mystical regions are far apart and operate independently. The primitive mystical region is the most central, closest to the company headquarters, and within the same cosmic nation. Ninesword Exalt's spaceship traveled through the universe at an extremely high speed. After about 10 days, a vast starfield appeared in their view. Qingyu's gaze was instantly captivated. 136 supermassive planets were slowly orbiting in an incredibly profound trajectory, containing the ultimate truth of the universe. They pulled at each other, energy flowing, as if forming an immense, three-dimensional array covering the entire starfield. Qingyu's heart trembled slightly. Here, the fluctuations of the space-time laws are also so clear. The spaceship did not directly enter the defensive perimeter formed by the 136 Wuchen planets but stopped at the periphery. At this moment, another streamlined spaceship, gleaming with silver metallic luster, quickly approached and docked steadily next to the sword-shaped spaceship. The hatch opened, and a familiar figure flew out from it. It was Marquis Tianyi. He wore silver-gray battle armor, his face still refined, and his silver eyes held a gentle smile and a hint of imperceptible excitement. Qingyu immediately flew out of the sword-shaped spaceship, came before Marquis Tianyi, bowed deeply in salute, his tone filled with genuine respect. "Teacher. Good, good." Marquis Tianyi stepped forward, carefully examining Qingyu, his eyes full of satisfaction. "Disciple, we finally meet in person." Ninesword Exalt, on the adjacent sword-shaped spaceship, merely glanced at the master and disciple without saying much. Marquis Tianyi also respectfully saluted in Ninesword Exalt's direction. "Greetings, Ninesword Exalt. I'll take Qingyu." Qingyu, cultivate diligently. I hope you grow into a strong individual soon." Ninesword Exalt responded, not forgetting to encourage Qingyu, and then the sword-shaped spaceship transformed into a streak of light and disappeared. "Disciple, let's go too." Marquis Tianyi was in a great mood, taking Qingyu back to his silver spaceship. Marquis Tianyi's spaceship passed through the profound trajectory formed by the 136 Wuchen planets without any hindrance, and the scene before them suddenly opened up. From the outside, only 136 massive planets were seen orbiting. But now, as the spaceship truly entered the Wuchen space-time interior, Qingyu was surprised to realize that those 136 planets were like giant guards, circling the edge of this space-time, forming an indestructible barrier. And in the core protected by this barrier, the central area guarded by the 136 Wuchen planets, a vast and boundless continent floated, with palaces situated upon it. Chapter 49 Wuchen Continent. How about it? Are you shocked? Marquis Tianyi smiled, looking at the fleeting astonishment in Qingyu's eyes, and introduced. This independent space-time is called Wuchen space-time, and the floating void continent in front is Wuchen continent. From the outside, one can only see the 136 Wuchen planets acting as defense. The core Wuchen continent cannot be detected or seen at all. This is the true residence of the core members of the primitive mystical region. The spaceship slowly approached the magnificent continent. Qingyu's gaze swept over the operating Wuchen planets and the core Wuchen continent, and he understood. These 136 planets are both a powerful defense system, and their operational trajectories themselves contain the profound mysteries of space-time laws, constantly influencing this space-time. No wonder the space-time laws here are so clear. Although they can't compare to primordial Chaos City, they are much stronger than the outside world. The spaceship finally landed at the edge of a picturesque area on the Wuchen continent. The hatch opened, and Qingyu and Marquis Tianyi had just stepped out of the spaceship. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 10 World Lord rank powerhouses in standard battle armor, leading over 100 territory Lord rank individuals, broke through the air in perfect formation, hovering steadily 10 meters in front of Qingyu. The resolute-faced World Lord rank 9 powerhouse at the forefront took a step forward and, along with everyone behind him, bowed respectfully, his voice loud and reverent. "Greetings, Your Highness." This was the guard team provided by the Virtual Universe Corporation for core mystical region members, serving as both protection and a symbol of status. Marquis Tianyi nodded with satisfaction and said to Qingyu, "Manor 114 has arrived. For a long time to come, this will be your cultivation place. These are your guards, led by Lei Luo, a World Lord rank 9. Qingyu's gaze swept over the elite team, and he nodded calmly. "Thank you all." His tone was steady, neither arrogant nor overly enthusiastic, consistent with his usual reserved style. "Protecting Your Highness is our duty." Captain Lei Luo bowed again. Marquis Tianyi led Qingyu into the manor. The interior of the manor was extremely vast, with all facilities readily available, a perfect blend of technology and classical aesthetics, a beautiful and tranquil environment, and an energy concentration far exceeding the outside world. The environment is good, but cultivation is the foundation, Marquis Tianyi said, entering the main hall and getting straight to the point. Your first priority is to quickly raise your realm to universe rank 9. Qingyu agreed deeply. He immediately connected to the virtual universe network backend management interface through the intelligent system. A concise page popped up, with 3 clear options: open black lens bracket life close black lens bracket, open black lens bracket study close black lens bracket, open black lens bracket cultivation close black lens bracket. Qingyu lightly tapped the open black lens bracket life close black lens bracket interface and selected Nutrient Pod application. Beep. A virtual screen popped up, showing a gentle, green-haired woman in a white robe, with a professional smile. Hello, Your Highness Qingyu. Your application request has been detected. Are you applying to use the Nutrient Pod to advance from Universe Rank 1 to Universe Rank 9? Yes, Qingyu confirmed. Application accepted. The nutrient solution will be delivered to your Manor 114 within 1 day. Please be ready to receive it. The green-haired woman responded with a smile, and the screen closed. Marquis Tianyi watched Qingyu complete the operation and continued. Next, is the core of your cultivation. His expression became serious. The myriad tribulations secret technique is the foundation for your comprehension of space-time laws. You must diligently study and integrate it continuously. And the chaotic true understanding bestowed by Palace Master Sky Eclipse is also of utmost importance. Although its effect is only 1/10 of personally comprehending a chaos tablet, after you leave the primal universe, this will be your most important way to continuously comprehend the profound mysteries of the universe chaos tablet. Each volume of the chaotic true understanding corresponds to 1 image on the chaos tablet. And the law mysteries contained in each image are hidden within 1081 basic secret technique variations, Marquis Tianyi emphasized. If you can find, comprehend, and master all 1081 secret techniques corresponding to a certain volume, it means you have completely understood that image of the chaos tablet. Qingyu's eyes were focused, and he firmly remembered Marquis Tianyi's words. Furthermore, Marquis Tianyi added, the primitive mystical region is rich in resources, not only having exclusive training grounds but also a large number of public lectures. These courses are taught by powerhouses within the corporation, including champion grandmasters, and occasionally even existences at the universe country lord rank. They cover all aspects such as law comprehension, secret technique application, combat skills, potions, and forging. These are free resources, and you should make good use of them to learn from various strengths. Marquis Tianyi looked at Qingyu, his tone becoming earnest. Disciple, I must remind you of one thing. The environment of this Wuchen continent is excellent, and resources are abundant. It is a holy land for cultivation, but it can also become a gentle trap. True powerhouses are forged in blood and fire. No matter how high one's talent, if they do not experience life and death tempering, if they do not squeeze out their potential in desperate situations, they will ultimately become flowers in a greenhouse, unable to withstand the storms. If you always immerse yourself in arduous cultivation, you might make rapid progress in the early stages, but you will soon find, bottlenecks become increasingly difficult to break through, and your progress will become slower and slower, until it stagnates. Qingyu's heart tightened. He understood that his teacher's words were true, and he had understood a principle in his previous life. A true sharp blade, without the tempering of fierce fire and the hammering of an anvil, will ultimately fail to become a peerless edge. The tempering that the Virtual Universe Corporation has prepared for you is cultivation missions. Marquis Tianyi clicked on a virtual screen, bringing up the mission system interface. Based on danger level, cultivation missions are divided into 5 levels. Safe level, 0% mortality rate. Normal level, 10% mortality rate. Difficult level, 20% mortality rate. Dangerous level, 50% mortality rate. Desperate level, 90% mortality rate. Danger and opportunity coexist. The higher the danger level of the mission, the more generous the points reward upon success. It can be said that undertaking cultivation missions is both a way to temper oneself and the main way to acquire points. Precisely because missions are perilous, before formally accepting a mission, I advise you to use your existing points to prioritize purchasing some life-saving trump cards, Marquis Tianyi suggested. It just so happens that you don't need to exchange for other resources right now. Qingyu's mind stirred, and he brought up his points balance. In Primordial Chaos City for 30 years, he had passed the 7th level of the Universe Tongtian Bridge. According to the rules, the reward for passing the Heavenly Bridge during his time in Primordial Chaos City was 10 times the points. That amounted to 127,000 points. Adding the remaining 88,240 points from the Genius Battle and Trial Tower settlements, his total points reached an astonishing figure. Over 210,000 points. This was definitely a huge sum for a universe rank. Does teacher have any suggestions? Qingyu looked at Marquis Tianyi. Marquis Tianyi clearly had a plan in mind. He brought up the virtual Universe Corporation's treasury interface, quickly filtered out a few options, and pointed to 2 of them, saying, I suggest you exchange for these 2 auxiliary lifeforms and cultivate them to World Lord rank. The first is the plant lifeform, Cloud Caressing Vine. Chapter 50, Accepting the Training Task. The Cloud Caressing Vine is one of the most popular plant life forms in the universe. It can both attack enemies and transform into armor to attach to its owner, providing strong defense and excellent protection. The second item. Marquis Tianyi pointed to another option, an image of a strange life form with a cold metallic luster and a seemingly changeable form. It's the metallic auxiliary life form, the Silver Stream. It can not only perfectly conceal its owner's aura fluctuations for sophisticated disguise, but also transform into various weapon forms at will, whether it be swords, spears, halberds, shields, or armor. More importantly, when it attaches to its owner, it can directly amplify the owner's strength. A World Lord rank Silver Stream's amplification effect would be very considerable. Qingyu looked at the description of the Silver Stream, and thought it was good. He was currently only universe rank. If he had the Silver Stream for amplification, he would be able to exert World Lord rank strength, although it would be incomparable to a true World Lord. But it would still greatly enhance his power. All right, I'll do as teacher says. Qingyu quickly made the exchange on the virtual system. The Virtual Universe Corporation's efficiency was extremely high. The next day, a giant nutrient pod, a vibrant cloud-caressing vine seedling, and the core of the Silver Stream, sealed in a special metal box and slowly flowing like liquid mercury. Along with the precious resources required for their respective cultivation, life fruits, myriad transformation spirit crystals, source energy golden marrow, and others, all arrived at a state 114. Qingyu did not delay. He immediately entered the cultivation room and immersed himself in the nutrient solution filled with gentle and immense energy. At the same time, in the dedicated cultivation room within the estate, the intelligent cultivation system had already been activated. Meticulously cultivating the cloud-caressing vine seedling and the Silver Stream core according to the plan Qingyu had chosen. The most perfect cultivation path for the cloud-caressing vine would allow it to possess 360 main vines at World Lord rank, maximizing its defensive and binding capabilities. However, that cultivation plan consumed astronomical resources, which even his more than 200,000 points could not afford. Qingyu could only choose a secondary plan, cultivating it to have 218 main vines at World Lord rank. The Silver Stream was the same. The most perfect Silver Stream cultivation would allow it to amplify World Lord power by 9 times after attachment at World Lord rank, but the cost was equally high. Qingyu chose a cultivation plan for a 7-fold amplification. Half a year later, the exclusive training ground of Estate 114 on Wuchen continent. Qingyu, dressed in a simple black training suit, stood in the center of the training ground. His mind stirred slightly. Cloud caressing. Buzz. Without any external vines, countless fine, blood-red veins instantly lit up beneath Qingyu's skin, like living things moving around. This was the manifestation of the cloud-caressing vine perfectly integrated into his body, normally invisible but ready when needed. A dark red stream of light instantly extended from his wrist, moving like lightning, to 16 incomparably thick main vines, gleaming with a cold, hard metallic luster, writhed like giant pythons. Each of these 216 main vines possessed World Lord rank power. They fiercely struck the ground, which was comparable to F9 grade metal, shattering it into pieces. Very good. Qingyu nodded in satisfaction. Silver stream. Hiss. Qingyu's body was instantly covered by a flowing, silvery white metal, like liquid mercury. This metallic battle suit perfectly conformed to his body's curves, outlining sleek lines and shimmering with a cold, restrained luster. A surge of immense power instantly poured into Qingyu's limbs and bones. This power was not merely physical strength, but the sum of his universe-rank 9th stage genetic primal energy and psychic power, amplified by the silver stream by a full 7 times, World Lord rank power. Vast energy surged within his body, making him feel as if he possessed the mighty power to move mountains and fill seas. This is what World Lord power amplification feels like. Qingyu felt the unprecedented sense of power within him, his eyes burning. Sky Blade Wheel. Qingyu let out a low cry, his eyes gleaming. The tribulation divine weapon on his back suddenly decomposed into a large number of circular blades, forming a rapidly spinning giant blade wheel. Buzz. Driven by his immense, World Lord power, it seemed to gain life, instantly tearing through the air, emitting a chilling shriek. Much stronger. Qingyu's heart swelled with excitement, feeling that he could now completely fight a World Lord. The illusion brought by the power level. This short burst of power made me too arrogant. But the 180,000 points were not wasted. My life-saving ability is probably only weaker than those with avatars now. The foundation is laid, and the trump cards are in place. Qingyu's gaze once again turned to the cultivation mission interface on the virtual screen. This time, his eyes were as sharp as blades, filled with a desire for real combat. The easy days are over. It's time to test the results of these past 6 months with real battles and blood. Qingyu's gaze lingered on the mission options on the virtual screen. Disciple, ready to take on a mission. Marquis Tianyi looked at Qingyu's focused expression, a hint of satisfaction on his face, but more so, solemnity. Yes, teacher. Qingyu nodded. The foundation is solid, and the auxiliary life forms are in place. It's time for tempering. Marquis Tianyi's gaze swept over Qingyu. He pondered for a moment, then said in a deep voice. With your current preparations, 2 World Lord rank. 9th stage auxiliary life forms, your life-saving ability and explosive power probably already surpass 99% of the primitive mystical region universe rank members in the Virtual Universe Corporation's history. He paused, his tone becoming serious and earnest. All of my effort and hope are in you. I don't want anything to happen to you more than anyone else. But taking ordinary missions would be no challenge for you and a waste of time, so I suggest you choose difficult or dangerous missions. They will put pressure on you without being as almost certainly fatal as desperate missions. Qingyu nodded slightly upon hearing this. Marquis Tianyi's analysis perfectly aligned with his inner thoughts. He mused, my current preparations indeed far exceed those of past geniuses at the same rank. If I still choose difficult missions, it would be too timid and wouldn't provide true tempering. If I'm going to fight, I'll start with dangerous missions. Teacher is absolutely right. Qingyu agreed. This disciple chooses to start with dangerous missions. Marquis Tianyi saw Qingyu's firm resolve and felt relieved. His finger quickly scrolled across the virtual screen, soon stopping on a mission. Dangerous mission. I recommend you choose this one. No. 36, Blood Luo World. He did not explain what specifically was in the Blood Luo world, because the Virtual Universe Corporation prohibited mentors from revealing detailed information about mission worlds to geniuses in advance. But the look in his eyes when he gazed at Qingyu carried a deeper meaning. The Blood Luo world has a special environment. There is a treasure called Blood River Crystal there, which might have some unexpected benefits for you. If you go to the Blood Luo world, you can consider collecting more of them while ensuring your safety.